Good evening. Welcome to the City Ground Nottingham for the TCM exclusive commentaries of Nottingham Forest against Newcastle. We've got live second round Carabao Cup action for you. Kick-off just 8 minutes away here at the City Ground. There are other games going on, and Ipswich have scored from a header against AFC Wimbledon. They've just kicked off in that game, incidentally, and it's former Wimbledon man Amadi, I think his name is. Anyway, he scored from a corner from Connor Townsend. So that's a latest score, 1-0 there. So just remind you that there's, as well as our game, there's 6 other games that we're going to be keeping you abreast of. Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Burnley 0. Now that was a 7:30 kickoff. The Clarets. We're not got time, obviously, tonight to talk about the current situation. You'll be able to, if you're a JB Sports subscriber, you can, if you want to know what I think of the current state of the affairs at Burnley, you can watch the 2 videos that I made in the last sort of week or so on that particular channel. We haven't time tonight, but I can tell you that 23 minutes gone at Molineux, across the Midlands. It's Wolves 0, Burnley 0. 8 minutes gone. The other games are 7:45 starts. So Wimbledon 0, Ipswich 1, Cardiff 0, Southampton 0, Colchester 0, Brentford 0, Swansea 0, Wycombe Wanderers 0, and West Ham 0, Bournemouth 0. So there's just a 1 goal from Ipswich Town at Wimbledon at the moment. Our game, incidentally, kicks off in 7 minutes from now. We're just waiting for the teams to emerge from the tunnel here at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest, who have won this competition 4 times, 1978, 1979, 1989, and 1990 under Brian Clough. They have reached the final on a few occasions as well. 92 they reached the final, beaten by Manchester United that year, and 1980 when they lost to Wolves through a really sloppy goal scored by Andy Gray. Well, the sun is setting in Nottingham. It's nice. There's no rain in the air. It has been raining up north, so I believe, but no such problems in the Midlands. We can actually see the sun setting over on the far side behind the Brian Clough stand. And a marvellous occasion here. It's a full house. There'll be quite a number come down the A1 from the northeast, and the M1, of course, from Newcastle. Forest fans there. Both sides unbeaten, incidentally, I think, in their respective at this moment in time, but we'll just double check that. I know Newcastle are. They drew their first couple of games. They drew 1-1 on the opening game against Bournemouth and beat Southampton. And Newcastle have faced the same 2 teams, incidentally, already this season. So, funnily enough, they've taken the same amount of points from those 2 fixtures. They beat Southampton on opening day at home and got a point they probably didn't deserve from Bournemouth, it has to be said, when Bournemouth scored what looked like a perfectly good winning goal, only for VAR to chalk it out. On the subject of VAR, there is none of it around tonight, even though we are at a Premier League venue for tonight's match. We haven't got the VAR facilities. Probably might be a good thing, really. Now we can just with VAR, it's a bit hit and miss. It can be a bit stop-start at times. Well, it's good to see Nick Pope back in the goal there. He's missed most of last season through injury, and it's good to see him back. And it is quite a strong Newcastle side. Obviously, Eddie Howe taking this very, very seriously. So both teams equal on points from their first 2 games. Both have unbeaten records as they step out here into the cold one that is the City Ground. A real proper cauldron. I've just said a quote from Brian Clough. I wouldn't say I was the best manager in the business, but I'm in the top 1. Coffee would come out with comments like that, and I think Coffee would love a night like this tonight. Quite a number have travelled down from the northeast, as I say. The Toon Army definitely haven't forced. There's about 2 and a bit thousand there behind the goal away to my left, which is the bridge which is the Bridgeford end. Well, let me run you through the teams. Nottingham Forest managed, of course, by Nuno Santo, the former Wolverhampton Wanderers manager. They line up with brilliant. And the back four is Zach Allett, Andrew Obadeli, Willie Bolly, and Alex Moreno. So a little bit of youth and a bit of experience in that back four there. Elliot Anderson and Nicholas Dominguez are the two centre midfielders, both Scottish and Argentinian respectively. And then further forward in the midfield area, we've got Eric Moreno of Germany, Ramon Sosa, and Jota Silva, who's Portuguese. And then leading the line, of course, is Taiwo Awoni. On the bench for Boris, Turner, Sangare, Williams, Wood, Hudson Odoi, Harry Toffolo, Anthony Elanga, the former Manchester United player, Milinkovic and Perry. What about Newcastle then? With their lineup, Eddie Howe, of course, former Bournemouth and Burnley manager. Let's have a look at how they line up with Nick Pope as their backing goals for them. After that horrendous injury he had last season. The back four is Kieran Trippier, Emil Kraft, Dan Burn, and Lewis Hull. 3 Englishmen out of that back four. The other one, of course, a Swede. In the midfield, we've got a Brazilian in Joe Linton, an Italian in Sandro Tonali, who's back from his ban, and Joe Willock, the Englishman. And then it's Miguel Almiron, Alexander Isak, and Harvey Barnes, who used to play just down the road at Leicester in attack. So it's 4-3-3 essentially. On the bench, John Ruddy, Anthony Gordon, Matt Targett, Asula, Livramento, Murphy, Kelly, Longstaff, and Guimaraes. So we're going to be on time tonight, I'm pleased to say. No gremlins like we had at Birmingham last night, where Fulham won, looked a very comprehensive 2-0 win. Both teams in their traditional colours, of course. And before we get on with the action tonight, of course, it's a sad duty of me tonight to tell you that Sven-Göran Eriksson died earlier this week, aged 76. One of the great England managers, presided over that never to be forgotten 5-1 win against Germany, and then beat Argentina a year later in the 2002 World Cup in Sapporo. A great England manager for 4 years, or 6 years rather. And of course, he won many, many trophies with Lazio and several other clubs. He was a terrific manager, and the football world is definitely in mourning at the moment for the loss of Sven-Göran Eriksson. We're going to pause for a second while we applaud Sven-Göran Eriksson, who died at the age of 76. And beautifully observed and cheered Sven-Göran Eriksson, a terrific, a very, very good manager, and really one can his universal likeness in amongst the games. There has been a goal in one of the other games. I will bring that to you live in a second or two. But right now, Noah Kintyre is being sung around the City ground as we're preparing to get the game up and running. There's Brian Clough, I can see there on my picture. There's his stand. He was there when he was manager at the place, built in about 79, 1980. One of the oldest stands out there at the moment. And we're about to get underway. Then the referee blows the whistle. I'll just get you The referee was supposed to be John Brooks tonight. I'm not sure that's John Brooks in the centre there. I'll get Russ, our producer, to run the rule over that. Meanwhile, Isaac now on the break. For Newcastle attacking the Trent end already, and they got every chance for a goal, and it's been turned in. Would you believe it? Inside of what, 30 seconds? By Joe Willock. Unbelievable start for Newcastle United. Their 2,500 supporters are going absolutely ballistic away to my right-hand side in the Bridgebed end. And what a horrible start for Nottingham Forest. Miguel could only parry the shot. It was Isaac making the break. Not very good defending there by the Forest defence. Played onside. Then Willock slid in and just got it in at the second attempt. There was a good rake by Alexander Isak here. Good right-footed shot. The goalkeeper could only parry. And the ball goes into the back of the net. And already Newcastle, go into the early lead. Well, who would have thought that? 3 minutes on the clock. And in fact, it was supposed to be Sam Allison, the referee. Sam Allison, in fact, is our referee tonight. I've just checked. He was due to be the fourth official, incidentally. John Brooks has had to pull out at the last second, obviously. He must have got some sort of late injury or something like that. So Sam Allison now takes John Brooks' place from in the middle. So, big night for him. In fact, he's from Chippenham. He's actually a former player, played for Swindon, Bristol City and Bournemouth, amongst other teams, Sam Allison. So, if you're a lower league fan, you probably know. There has been some goals. Well, as I said, we will bring you that news of the Southampton goal. Southampton are taking the lead, but they've started so well here in this game. It's been end to end. It's almost a rip-roaring start to this cup tie. I think we've chosen two crackers this week for League Cup coverage. I can tell you that 34 minutes have been played at Molineux. That was a 7:30 kickoff. It's Wolves 0, Burnley 0. Here's Willock, the goal scorer, back inside now. And Isaac, there might be another one there, and it was a chance there for Tonali. And this time, Miguel was required to save that time. And Nottingham Forest, within nearly 3 minutes of the start, could have been 2-0 down there. Nuno Santo must be absolutely seething down below me on the bench. Trent End is in shock, but there's delight in the lower tier of the Bridgebed end because the Newcastle fans are absolutely cock-a-hoop and they've seen in the first 3 minutes how well the team has performed. Have started so far. So here's Emil Quaff to Kieran Trippier. As we talk about Trippier, in fact, going to Everton. Of course, the transfer window is going to be live with you on Friday night. With ever faithful Russ Burnham, he'll be bringing you every nook and cranny of the last 2 hours of deadline day. And you'll have every transfer in complete detail, and there will be some contributors amongst the TCF gang. So make a date on all the TCF platforms for transfer deadline day if you can. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest looking to try and hit back straight away here with number 19. Alex Moreno with the cross. He'll get a second bite. There was a half an appeal for handball. It's Silva with a shot. Jota Silva with the effort, but now it's come back from Nottingham Forest. Isaac on the chase. But this time, Omar Bandeli gets it away. And back to the goalkeeper. But, we might just get a bit of... We might just get a little bit of... settling down. As Forrest comes looking for an equaliser straight away with Anoni, he can't keep his header down. And over the top for a goal kick. Well, let's just see the opportunity again for Newcastle. But a rip-roaring start, and it was Sandro Tonali who came in. He's back from his long ban, of course. This time the goalkeeper, Miguel, spread himself like an eagle and did well. So the 10-month ban, October 2023 was. Cost Newcastle an awful lot of money, of course. Now Newcastle fans get to see it for the first time in 10 months, and I'm sure they've been impressed so far with what they've seen. Incidentally, Newcastle have never won this competition. They did reach the final a couple of seasons ago, and then before that 1976 where they lost to Manchester City. 2 years ago they lost to Manchester United. So they know what it takes to reach this final. There's been a couple of goals in the game at Cardiff. Cardiff 1, Southampton 1. I better keep you updated with this because we've got a break in play, so it's going to be a free kick foul on Isak to Newcastle. Mateus Fernandes put Southampton ahead on 10 minutes, and then Colwell has equalised for Cardiff to make it 1-1. Dibwin assisted for the first goal for Southampton. Reindorf has assisted for Colwell's equalising goal. So 1-1 there in Cardiff. And Wolves, I'm afraid, have scored against Burnley. Not good news for the Clarets, who have had an horrendous week off the pitch and on it. I'll bring you news of the goal scorer in just a second, because Newcastle are breaking here with Emil Kraft. Game with the pace has just slowed down a touch, which is quite good. So 39 minutes gone. Let's bring you that goal, shall we? Guedes has scored for Wolves, so 1-0 it is. And Burnley, looking at statistics, certainly dominated possession, but nothing really much else at the moment by the looks of the statistics. I'm sure Russ will fill me in on all the details after the game. Don't forget, there's a third. Of course, the third round draw will take place. Whatever happens here tonight. Nottingham Forest now starting their third season back in the top right after 22 years away from the top division. Awani has picked up a loose ball here deep inside the Newcastle half. Forest will attack the Trent in the second half as the ball comes into the penalty area, and the ball didn't get there, and it was kicked off the line by Dan Burn about a couple of yards from the goal line. But Forest starting to creep back into this tie ever so slowly. Making one or two things happen here. Nuno's side. 8 minutes gone on all the TC Hub platforms. We are live tonight on these following platforms: TC Hub, TC Hub 2, JB Sports, Storm FM, and Focus on Football. We're on all those platforms, YouTube platforms tonight. We're also on Russ's personal Twitch channel as well. Anyway, here's the ball back inside, and half appeal for a penalty. Sam Hallinson, a former professional footballer, had a good look at it and said no penalty. We're making the break inside the penalty area. Now, was there a trip there maybe? No, the Newcastle player got the ball. Willock has injured himself in the process. This was the opportunity for Forest. Pope came, didn't get there. The Forest player, not sure who it was. It was Silva. Lost his headband in that collision as well. But Sam Allenson just stopping play, the substitute referee, and so Willock can get some attention. So let's recap all the latest scores. 40 minutes have been elapsed at Molineux. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Burnley 0. And the 7:45 games: AFC Wimbledon 0, Ipswich 1, Cardiff 1, Southampton 1, Colchester 0, Brentford 0, Swansea and Wickham 0-0, and so too West Ham United and Bournemouth. Our match, of course, is the only 8 o'clock kickoff as things stand. And just a quick reminder of what will happen if it ends a draw tonight. If it does end a draw, Forest were to get back in it and there were no further scoring. Finish, for example, 1-1. Then there'd be no extra time. It would go straight to a penalty shootout. Had a couple of those last night. Barrow going through heroically. Paul Farmer making a telling save to knock out Derby County, Nottingham Forest's fierce rivals, East Midland rivals. And of course, QPR crashing Luton 4-1 on penalties after a 1-1 draw. This was the goal scored by Willock, who's injured himself who's injured himself just now. Any goals that go in, we will bring you up to date. Willock seems to be okay. The physio's giving him a bit of a sort of a 10, not about a 2-minute treatment. Then probably down to 10 minutes. Souza was going to take the corner. The referee Allinson has spotted a bit of pushing and shoving. He has called Trippier across, the captain, and has called Willie Bowie across, their captain. Tonali was involved there. Souza will get a second chance. It curves out. It's an outswinging corner. It comes on to the edge of the box. Shot comes in from Alex Moreno, but the ball breaks nicely for Harvey Barnes, who's absolutely inside down. Referee Sam Allinson says no foul. We play on. Big night for Sam Allinson, really, considering that the referee initially, Sam Allinson from Chippenham, or originally from Chippenham, is he's played for Swindon, he's played for Bournemouth and several other teams on the books. I'll give you a bit more info on him after half time, of course, but at the moment it's he's refereed it with a good deal of common sense, Mr. Allison, I must admit. Here's a Awoni breaking through for Forest. Good challenge there, and it needed to be from Emil Kraft. Came charging in there. Awoni, he's a big, powerful lad. Came right through there. There it is. Awoni past the defender Byrne, but Kraft saw the danger, was very savvy to it. And Moriera is going to take the throw for Forest. Number 17, he's got De Silva Moriera on the back. Hard to tell with these shirt numbers. It's makes identification a bit difficult as the ball comes into the penalty area from the throw, and it's well dealt with Newcastle. They do have big central defenders in Emil Kraft and Dan Byrne. Massive 6 foot plus centre halves. Real throwback to the old days of the centre half. We've likes of Ron Chopper Harris and Norman Hunter and Jack Charlton, and then later on we had the likes of Tony Adams and Martin Keown, Gary Pallister and all that lot. And well, back to those days, really, those two Newcastle centre backs. Here's Moriera now breaking against the defender. Lewis Hall comes back. Oh, well, nicked in by Almiron. He's a live wire, Almiron. He's won the free kick there for Newcastle midway inside his own half. 13 minutes have been played, and it's 1-0 to Newcastle. Just to remind you, if you have just joined us, this is JB, John Stuttard in the commentary box. The goal scored after 30 seconds. We haven't had the confirmation of the actual timing of the goal. Meanwhile, they're coming up towards half-time in the game at Wolves. It's Wolves 1, Burnley 0. There's just been a bit more treatment going on at the moment. Southampton have scored in the game at the Cardiff City Stadium. Amu Aweno has scored. Southampton yet to win this season. They've had 2 defeats out of 2. Russ Martin's team. But they're winning at Cardiff at the moment with 31 minutes gone in that game. It's a 7:45 kickoff, incidentally, that one. The Wolves-Burnley game, that's a 7:30 kickoff. We're into 2 minutes of stoppage time, and they're coming rapidly towards half-time there. Burnley then with it all to do. As I'll explain at the end of tonight, before we go, I have a bit to say on the piece at Burnley. I might do it at half-time, actually. This game isn't going to define Burnley's season. It's all about the league match on Saturday against Blackburn Rovers, of course. The big Lancashire derby. That's what matters more to us Burnley fans. But it's like Newcastle may be forced into an early substitution by the looks of it. Joe Willock, I'm afraid, will not be able to continue. Bruno Guimaraes has now taken the captain's armband and now skippers decide. So later scores from the 7:45 kickoffs. Burnley 1-0 down at Wolves. They're nearing half-time in that game. But it's Wimbledon 0, Ipswich 1, Cardiff 1, Southampton 2, Colchester, Brentford 0-0, Swansea City and Wickham 0-0, and West Ham against Bournemouth 0-0. Here's the ball backed in there by Lewis Hall. It's a dangerous one looking towards Harvey Barnes, but again, knocked away. Harvey Barnes was in the Leicester team 3 years ago. That was humiliated 4-1 in the FA Cup. Game I presented for the TC Hub that day with Trevor and Chris Whiteman. I produced first-rate commentary on that match. And of course, I commentated on Forest, that infamous third-round game against Arsenal where they wore those white shirts. I haven't got my old buddy and pal Paul James with me tonight, but what I can say was it was one of his early commentary hub appearances, and look at that. First chuckle, he's in there and he's waving his fists around as if he's just won the World Heavyweight Boxing Championship. It's one of those, isn't it? There's Emil Kraft now for Newcastle. 16 minutes gone. Nottingham Forest 0, Newcastle 1. In the Carabao Cup second round. Of course, most of the bigger guns come in round number 3. Here's Harvey Barnes on the left-hand side for Newcastle. Infield to Joe Linton. Now back out to the left, and it's Barnes hogging the touchline. Midway inside the Forest half. Uses Hall, still on that touchline. It's 4 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first half at Wolves. Still 1-0 to the Premier League outfit. Pope, the former Burnley goalkeeper, onto Emil Kraft. Remember, both teams unbeaten competitively so far this season, a win and a draw each. Both against a similar opposition. Both played Southampton and both played Bournemouth within the first couple of games. There's irony in itself before you even begin with this game. Here's Harvey Barnes. I would love to put one here. Former Leicester man, good effort, good save. It was a terrific save to deny. Almiron came in at the right-hand side of the ground. Good play from Harvey Barnes behind Isak. And then Almiron with his left foot, side of his left foot, made a very, very comfortable save in the end for Miguel, but it's a corner kick. Barnes is on the 6-yard box. Isak's just beyond the penalty spot. Byrne is there too. It's looking towards Joe Linton, who's headed it back into the danger zone, but it's Miguel's all the way, and the whistle has gone, incidentally, at Molineux. Wolves 1, Burnley 0, and that's a poor kick out, and he's got away with it there, Carlos Miguel. He's not had his finest 20 minutes so far, but here's Souza playing it into the danger zone for Forest. Of course, Premier League survival again will be the priority for Forest this season. To the 5th round of the FA Cup last season. Took Manchester United all the way before. I think it was Garnacho. I think it wasn't Garnacho. I'm trying to think who got the winning goal that night, but it'll come back to me. But there was a late goal. Casemiro, I think, scored there. And it went well. Apparently, poor defending from the Clarets. Well, that doesn't surprise me in the least. They were poor in the game against Sunderland on Saturday. And if I'm being totally honest, I'm not surprised in the least. So 1-0, as I say, at half-time. And of course, let's have a look at Mike's on. Hello, Mike. Lovely to have you with us, Mike. If you want to comment as well tonight, keep your comments clean, but we'll be welcome to try and read out some of your comments as well here tonight. And if you are new to us, you've joined our platforms for the first time, any of your platforms, whether it be the TC Hub itself, TC Hub 2, Focus on Football, JB Sports, my own channel, or Storm FM, please subscribe to us, or subscribe to any of the channels you found us on, and subscribe to the others if you can as well. It always helps having as many subscribers as we possibly can. And of course, if you want to follow the TC Hub on Twitter, you can follow us on our Twitter handle, which is, well, it's X now. They call it X these days. Elon Musk has got a lot to say for himself there. But if you want to follow us on X, formerly of Twitter, of course, you can follow us at the handle of at Commentary Live 1. Okay? Here's Tonali playing the ball forward, but it's an easy one for Miguel. He takes the ball nicely. 20 minutes gone. Newcastle 1 up. Goal in the very first minute. And my long run without a 0-0 thankfully continues. I'm quite proud of that record. I haven't had a 0-0 game since the 2022 League Cup final, which finished 0-0 at Wembley that day between Liverpool and Chelsea. So I've been a very lucky boy. And are we going to see more than one goal? We saw 2 last night. We saw 2 on Sunday in the Premier League. And to be quite honest, it's been a long afternoon. No further goals being scored in the 7:45 games. Just a goal at Ipswich in the Wimbledon game. 1 goal in the pre. And I've already said at Cardiff. No goals in any of the other 3 matches, 7:45 games. Forest, meanwhile, have won a corner with 22 minutes almost played. Here comes the corner in from the far side. Out comes Pope, gets a good hand on it. And Newcastle should be able to mop up the danger. They actually get a throw-in out of it. Atmosphere is absolutely superb. £10 million Jota Silva. There's a chance there inside the penalty area. Might come to Silva inside the penalty area. And Forest just catching Newcastle and the said commentator napping a touch there. I just thought for a moment the game had just settled down a little bit, and I was just looking across towards the scores. But I'll try and get our statistician to try and work out what the actual timing was. It must have been under 30 seconds, 20 seconds at least. And that's me having to guess at this. 23 gone. We're halfway through the first half, and here's a chance now for Harvey Barnes to stretch his legs down the left-hand side. Comes towards the Forest area. Looks to go in field. Joe Linton is there. Joe Linton tries to curl into the top right-hand corner and just clears the crossbar. Goes into the Trent end away to my left, and a goal kick for Nottingham Forest. But Newcastle looking very dangerous and lightning quick on the counter-attack here. Good effort, but yeah, just high and wide. A little bit there from Joe Linton. It was a good idea to try the shot. No goals in the West Ham game, no goals in the Swansea match, no goals in the Colchester-Brentford game. Burnley, looking at the match stats, look abysmal. They've had a bit more possession. You look at that, Wolves have totally outplayed him in every other department. They've had these are the half-time stats: 13-1 in Wolves' favour in shots. On target, they've had 5 to Burnley's nothing, and the 4 of them have been off target. It's a sad state of affairs for Burnley right now, I have to say. But as I said, this game isn't going to define their season, so I'm not going to be too act up about it, considering that. But I will have my say on Alan Pace during the half-time show, and we've run down all the other scores. Ball knocked across again. 24 minutes played, coming up to the 25th minute of the match. Our main event has ball is fed to Moreira, gets a good ball in there. The ball break on the far side. Now will it be a right-footed shot? Oh, he just lost his balance there. Souza, and then another effort goes into the Bridgeford end, and a goal kick. for Newcastle. We play 25 minutes now. So far, a little bit of frustration creeping for Nottingham Forest at the moment. And there's been a goal in the game at Swansea. Swansea City 0, Wycombe Wanderers 1. Kone, the goal scorer, on 40 minutes. Putting Wycombe Wanderers, once an FA Cup, the FA Cup semi-finalists and League Cup semi-finalists of 2007, might I add, with a real shout of causing a big upset in South Wales tonight. Meanwhile, here in the land of Robin Hood, here is an opportunity now for Souza to cut the ball into the area. Comes to Silva on the edge of the area. Can't bring it under control. And Newcastle get it out. Gimaraj thought he was fouled, but the referee disagrees. Sam Allison, and we play on. Ball into the penalty area, blocked away. It'll come for Isaac, or Isaac, I should say. And here they come again with Gimaraj to Lewis Hall. Gimaraj has been poleaxed again, and Sam Allison says, "Come on, that's enough now." It's a free kick. Definite foul on Gimaraj. Free kick for Newcastle. There's Toonami, a very passionate crowd. There's been another goal in the game at Wimbledon, and Wimbledon have equalised. It's 1-1. Omar Bugel with a goal on the 40th minute. So 1-1 in that game at the Cherry Red Records. Is it not? I don't think it's the Cherry Red Records Stadium, but I definitely know it's down in Merton, which is sort of proper Wimbledon heartland. And there's been another goal in the game at Cardiff City. Cardiff City. Oh no, that's we broke that a long time ago. So no, there's been no perfect scoring at Cardiff. And Russ has come on and said that 19 seconds. So I wasn't far wrong. I thought it might have been about 20, 22 seconds. Something like that. I wasn't far off. 19 seconds it's been confirmed by Russ, our statistician and producer tonight. And the reason he's not on the air tonight is because he's had a tooth out. And we wish Russ the best of rude health. Or better health, I should say. Mike reckons it was 18 seconds, but we've had confirmation from Russ. These confirmations are always good enough for me. At 19 seconds, the goal was scored, and that means Willock, in fact, gets that when scoring that goal, gets his first competitive goal of the season. So Joe Willock, it is Cherry Red Records Stadium. I was right the first time. Thank you, Russ, for just checking that. I'm glad I've got you on me. I will say that. So it is Cherry Red Records Stadium. We got there. So 1 apiece in that game at Wimbledon. 2-1 to Southampton at Cardiff. Colchester and Brentford 0-0. Swansea and Wycombe 1-0 to Wycombe. And West Ham and Bournemouth, another old Premier League affair. 0-0 there. Burnley and Wolves, they've gone in for half-time. Now with a 7:30 kick-off, of course. Wolves completely domineering that game, if the stats are to be to believe. I go to know, but Russ has probably as good as said, just by one comment, that Burnley defence have been poor. I think that's all we need to know about Burnley at the moment. But as I said, this game is not going to define their season by any means. The bigger game will be on Saturday against Blackburn Rovers, who slipped to a humiliating defeat against local rivals Blackpool last night. Blackpool were 1-0 down with about 13-14 minutes to play in that one, and scored 2 late goals to send Blackburn packing at the first hurdle for that. Well, second hurdle really. Blackburn warmed up for Saturday on the back of a defeat. Looks like the Clarets might be doing exactly the same. We'll see. So 45 minutes of that to go. You never know. Football's a funny way of working out. At the moment, it's a good game here at the City Ground. It's just the pace has just relented a little bit, thank God, because that was an arum-scaring first 10 minutes we saw with both sides attacking. But it's just calmed down a fraction. Here's Harvey Barnes. He's had a decent game on the left-hand side thus far. Goes back to Lewis Hall. Hall just checks away. Good play. Nicely played by the former Chelsea man. Nice ball out. No, it's not a nice ball. Missed Trippier by a long way, in fact. And there's been another goal. There's been a goal at Colchester. The deadlock has been broken. Brentford have scored. And it's Lewis Potter who scored the goal there. So that gives Brentford the lead there. So, as you know, Burnley are 1-0 down at half-time to Wolves. That's, as I say, half-time. The 7:45s, here they are in full now. This is the current state of affairs. Wimbledon 1, Ipswich 1. There is stoppage time there at the Cherry Red. Cardiff 1, Southampton 2. They're into 3 minutes of stoppage time there. Colchester 0, Brentford 1. 4 minutes of stoppage time there at the end of the first half. Swansea 0, Wycombe 1. They're in 2 minutes of stoppage time. And the half-time whistle's just gone at the London Stadium, incidentally. West Ham 0, Bournemouth 0. And we'll bring you all the other scores. And, of course, there's some Champions League football as well. We ought to bring you updated with as well. Tonight there's some qualifying matches, of course. And the main draw for that massive extended, the new league phase of the Champions League, where teams now, I think, have to play something like a total of 9 games, 8 to 9 games. It's a ridiculously complicated system, which I'm sure UEFA will clear up when they're conducting the draw. But I can tell you that 5 British teams are in that draw tomorrow. And they are the following: Liverpool, Manchester City, Aston Villa and Arsenal. And from Scotland, Celtic. Rangers didn't qualify, unfortunately. So instead of, we were hoping for 6 British representatives. We've got 5. Going to be a tall order for Celtic, of course, but they've automatically qualified, so that's good for them. Due to the fact that they are Scottish champions. And Forest now looking to get back into it through Alex Moreno, but he trod on the ball. Newcastle have possession. There's a little bit of a 2 against 2 in the far corner, right by the Bridgeford end. Forest what they should have had a corner. Newcastle have got the verdict of a goal kick as we come up down towards the final quarter of an hour. In fact, we're inside that final quarter hour. Let me just remind you that Wolves, all the other games now are at half-time. Wolves and Burnley are just about to kick off in a second. But all the 7:45s are now at half-time. Wimbledon 1, Ipswich 1, Cardiff 1, Southampton 2, Colchester 1-0, Brentford 1, and Swansea 0, Wycombe Wanderers 1, and West Ham 0, Bournemouth 0. And well, we're just getting the better of Dan Burn there. Referee felt there was nothing in it, though it did look a clear push on the Newcastle centre-back. Now then, what can Forest start producing here? Number 17, Moriera. Andrew Omabandelli. Ball forward. I'm only trying to flick it around the corner. Well, Morgan Gibbs-White, incidentally, for Forest tonight. He's been rested. Scored the winner at Southampton at the weekend. Opportunist goal. But Chris Wood is on the bench, who scored in the draw here a week or 2 back against Bournemouth on opening day. Here's Silva far side. 4 red shirts in the area if he can get his head up, possibly, but he's surrounded by 2 or 3 Newcastle black and white shirts. Both in traditional colours, incidentally. Forest in the red shirts with the white shorts and red stocks. Newcastle in the black and white shirts, black shorts and white stockings. Inside the final 11 minutes of the first half here. Good out again there by Joe Linton. He's one of the hardest working men in the Newcastle side. Gets through an awful lot of work. Likes to do the dirty. And will not be afraid to get his hands dirty. Trippier's got a challenge to keep that in, and he's done so magnificently. But in doing so, is giving it straight back to Souza. But now Newcastle have a break on here on the far side. Just holding the ball up now. Isak now edge of the penalty area, just right up the penalty area. The ball breaks kindly for Forest and for their goalkeeper, Carlos Miguel. So we're inside the final 10 minutes of the first half, live here on the TC Hub in association with JB Sports, TC Hub 2, Storm FM, and of course Paul James's channel. We're glad to have for another year focus on football. So if you're a subscriber to any of these channels, keep listening out. There's plenty more commentaries where they came from during the year. Forest 1-0 down, I should say. Here's Morena takes on Lewis Hall, tries to whip him, runs out of pitch, and the goal kick to Newcastle. Game's just petered out a bit. They're back underway at Wolves. 1-0 to Wolves. No change in the score. They're just into the third minute of the second half there. Incidentally, Wolves and Burnley. Burnley were to get through tonight, and it looks a tall order by the looks of it. But if they were to get through, it'll be ball number 32 in the draw. But at the moment, it's an awful long way off. It's Nick Pope, the former Clarets keeper, kicks away for Newcastle, right-footed. There's been a lot of talk about James Trafford going to Newcastle. Whether that's true or false, I'm not sure. But what I'm going to touch on at half-time with the Clarets is probably not going to make a good reading if you're a Clarets fan, which I number myself one. A few people actually online said, why are you not doing the Wolves Burnley game? There's a good reason for that. I work for the commentary hub. And the simple... Apologies there, we just lost sound for a second or two, so I just apologise to everyone there, but we are back with you live. So it's all happening here. Elsewhere, still 1-0 goal, incidentally, if you've just joined us, for Wolves. Guade is scoring after 38 minutes of that game. Burnley not really laying a glove according to the statistics anyway. But at half time, I'll also give you the Champions League scores. In fact, while they're all away at the moment, why don't we have a look at the European Cup games as well? Because, of course, there's a lot going on around Europe this evening. So in the Champions League playoffs, we've got a full-time score. Karabag 0, Dinamo Zagreb 2, 5-0 that Dinamo Zagreb have won on aggregate. They will now go into tomorrow's draw as Newcastle keep possession. At the moment, we've got... Some of these games are 8 o'clock kickoffs, just like our games. We've got Venture Cerveda 1, Bodo Glimt 0. It's 2-2 in that game on aggregate. And Coimbra, I think that's how you pronounce it, having a away goal in that one too. Slavia Prague lead Lille by a goal to 0. And they lead 2-1 on aggregate against Slavia Prague lead Lille, but Lille lead 2-1 on aggregate. They played 38 minutes in that game. And Slovan Bratislava 1, Midland 0, 2-1 to Slovan Bratislava on aggregate as things stand. This is Harvey Barnes inside the Forest penalty area. Ball back across the area. Might be kept in here. Isak on the edge. Isak turns. The ball knocked back to Barnes. Barnes back up. Barnes shoots, deflects it away. And that will be Dan Burn to knock it away and finds Lewis Hall. Hall now runs in support. He's got Joe Linton, I should say, in support. Barnes knocks it in. Back to Hall. Just to the left-hand side, but midway inside the Forest half. And the Newcastle attacking the Trent end. If you just joined us, scored after our TCO timer makes it at 19 seconds, and the timer is no slouch. His name is Russ Berlin. Anyway, here's Almiron. In far side. Almiron does really well, and the ball is back with Kraft. At the moment, it's being played at a very walking pace. There's some other other scores, I can tell you 2 Conference League playoff games taking place at the moment. Ghent 1, Partizan 0. Ghent now, in fact, these are 2 full-time scores. Ghent 1, Partizan Belgrade 0. So Ghent go through 2-0 on aggregate. They go through. And Istanbul Başakşehir beat Irish side St Patrick's 2-0 on the night, and they go through 2-0 on aggregate. Currently, elsewhere, we've got in the Highland Lowland League, we've got the Highland League, Banks OD 0, Huntley 1, Wrekin 1, Devonvale 0, Bucky Thistle 3, Strapsy Thistle 0, Van Cudding 4, Bucky Academy 0, Invereni Local Works 3, Turriff United 0, Keep 2, Forest Mechanics 0, and Lossiemouth 0, Fortaman United 0. At the moment, some Liga games going on at the moment. Real Betis postponed. Athletic Bilbao 1, Valencia 0. That's a full-time score. So too is Valladolid and Leganés. That finished 0-0. Atletico Madrid and Espanyol kicked off 12 minutes ago. That's 0-0. Same with Real Sociedad and Alaves. 0-0 in that game. At the moment, in the German Knockout Cup, it's Carl Zeiss Jena 0, Bayer Leverkusen 1. In fact, that's a full-time result in that one there. And you're up to date with all the latest scores from around the world. Nothing much has been happening while I've been reading out the scores in the elsewhere. Oh, I can tell you that all the other scores, Burnley and Wolves, 10 minutes into the second half almost. Wolves still winning by that goal to 0. In the 7:45 games, they're all at half time, so no changes in those scores. We'll keep you across mainly the League Cup and the Champions League qualifiers tonight. As Aloni wins it for Forest, looks to try and get Jota Silva on his way, but Nick Pope, sweeper keeper, almost Manuel Neuer read the situation very well. Manuel Neuer has just retired from the German national team. Very, very good servant. Former World Cup winner, of course, in 2014. Very good player. Very capable individual as Jota wins himself a free kick. We're going to take a 5-minute break. As soon as the whistle goes, as soon as I'm back, we'll run through the goings on off the field at Burnley. And, of course, keep you updated with all the latest scores from around Europe. And, of course, some sports news as well. We try to cover as many, give you as much sports news as we can. We always try and fill up the programme with as much sports news as we possibly can. Meanwhile, Newcastle now with some defending to do as we go into the final 2 minutes of normal time at the end of a very competitive first half. Well refereed by substitute referee Sam Allinson. That's a very good free kick, and there was 2 players converging on the same ball. Aloni, in fact, got the header in, collided with his own man at the far left-hand post. And if he got any more purchase on that, that might have been a real problem there for Nick Pope. A lovely free kick in there by Souza. Really good free kick, bounces wickedly, which makes it a bit awkward for Pope. He was in a bit of a no man's land, and in the end, well, touch and go where he was offside there, but we haven't got the VAR. Both players are okay. There's been a goal in the game at Molineux, and I'm afraid Burnley fans, which our numbers to myself on, it's not very good news. The bad news keeps on coming for us at the moment. Wade has just scored his second goal, set up by an old Burnley nemesis from the European days, Daniel Podence. So it's not looking good for Burnley. Looks like going out of the League Cup at the first hurdle tonight. Very disappointing, but as I say, not going to define the season. Ball knocked into the penalty area. Up goes Joe Linton. Comes out to Lewis Hall. And the left back curls it into the penalty area, but we get a second bite at the cherry. Loses possession. Gemaraj now in possession, but he's lost out. Referee, I'm not so sure there. Sam Allison. Now he's giving it to Forest, and I think he's made the wrong decision. I'm not so sure that's a foul. There's an arm on the shirt. There's an arm on there's a hand on the arm, but there's no shirt pull. It's kind of a clear shirt pull, but he has given it to Newcastle. Probably the first contentious decision he's made tonight. Sam Allinson. Well, this will test the theory that a lot of people, pundits, including Dion Dublin, have been saying. Let's give an ex-professional a chance. It's one of his biggest games so far of his refereeing career. I'll do some background. I must admit, he was supposed to be fourth official tonight, and of course, John Brooks must have picked it up to some injury or something like that. But now a chance for Forest, but it's going to fall for Pope. As dear me. Souza is, well, he's running himself ragged there. Blocked the first attempted clearance and almost blocked Pope's clearance. We're into 4 added minutes, for which we played a minute off before. And we've only got one goalless game at the moment, and that's at half time in that one. West Ham 0, Bournemouth 0. As we now go deep into this stoppage time, just remind you that I'll take a couple of minutes break to get a little bit of refreshment, a cup of coffee or something like that, and then I'll be straight back on air within a couple of minutes to bring you all the latest news and the scores and any goals that go in at half time, plus all the latest sports news, and of course a 2-minute piece on Burnley as well, what's going on off the field. It's been a good night for Newcastle so far. They've I think Eddie Howe will be delighted at the moment. Of course, there's been boardroom upheaval again at Tyneside as Jason Tyndall, as ever faithful assistant, is there alongside him. There's Nuno Espirito Santo. Amanda Staveley has left the ballroom. He's no longer part of Newcastle anymore now. As Elliot Anderson has the possession now for Forest. It's being slowed down to a very, very slow halt here. And we are still in late summer. Let's not forget. Anderson gets it back on halfway. Ball is not back towards the Forest end of the ground, and this is now number 16, Nicolas Dominguez on the ball. A mop of grey hair as well, Dominguez. Lewis Hall gets a good blocking for the attempted through ball. He's had a good first half, I have to say. Lewis Hall, he's been absolutely excellent. Apparently, he did West Bromwich Albion against Leeds as well, Sam Allison. So he did a good job. So Russ tells me he's had a good game tonight, apart from that one contentious decision. But he's a pretty good referee. We've got a couple of comments flooding in. Commentators curse, and there's some transfer news from Arsenal. Looks like Ramsdale is going to Southampton. That'll boost their goalkeeper ranks. McCarthy at fault for their winner for Forest winner on Saturday. And there goes the half-time whistle. 10 seconds over the four added. It's a goal from Joe Willock, who was later substituted in the first half. That's the difference. A goal that came after just 19 seconds we make it, or our TCO watchers make it. And it's been a game of quite a number of opportunities. Forest have come close. They've had one half chance kicked off the line by Dan Burn. Then we had a couple of opportunities, one for Isak and one for Joe Linton. For Almiron rather, to make it even more for Newcastle, but denied on both occasions. But a good cup tie, well worth a listen to the second half. I'm going to take a couple of minutes break, and then I'll be back with all the latest news from all the other games around Europe. We've got European Champions League football and we've got some Europa League games as well, just to flip over, as well as the League Cup tonight. But a hard time here at the City Ground. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Newcastle 1. John is again shortly. Welcome back to the City Ground in Nottingham, where it's 1-0 at the moment to Newcastle United. Just to keep you abreast now, then what's going on elsewhere? They've all kicked off in the second half in the other games. Because the break was a bit longer than we expected, then I think we'll keep the news until later on in the programme. So let's see what's been happening elsewhere in the League Cup at the moment. Of course, we've got Champions League as well, we'll keep you abreast with. The draw, incidentally, for that is tomorrow. The League Cup third round draws tonight. Wolves are very big favourites to go through. They'll be ball number 32 if they hold on to win against Burnley. At the moment, winning that game with ease. A brace from Gonzalo Guedes, obviously doing the damage against the Clarets, which I will touch on at the end of the match now. There's 20 minutes to play in that one. That was a 7:30 kickoff. AFC Wimbledon 1, Ipswich Town 1. They played 57 minutes in that game. Bugo and Al Hamadi are the goal scorers in that one, but one apiece in both sides. Lots of goals going in at Cardiff at the moment. It's 3-2 now. Edwards with an own goal for Cardiff, equalising on 48 minutes. But Archer has just scored another one for Southampton 10 minutes into the second half. 3-2 to Southampton now in a real thriller minute. Colchester 0, Brentford 1. Lewis Potter with the goal there. And Wickham looked like producing a very good shot at the moment. 2007 semi-finalists are one up from Cornet on 40 minutes. They've now played nearly an hour in that game. And the other game that is currently goalless and looks like being a shoo-in for a penalty shootout at the moment. West Ham United 0, Bournemouth 0. Looks like a very, very even Stevens game at the moment, but I think Bournemouth possibly on the statistics just shading it. There's been another goal at Wimbledon. Stevens has just scored for Wimbledon, 56 minutes, and Wimbledon lead 2-1 down in Merton. So 2-1 it is. Ipswich had gone ahead, but Stevens has just scored for Wimbledon, so they're 2-1 up. Could have a bit of a shock on tonight. Both Wickham and Wimbledon, both on course to be in the hat for the next round of the Carabao in the Champions League playoffs. One full-time score: Karabag 0, Dynamo Zagreb 2. Dynamo winning 5-0 on aggregate over the two legs. Still 1-0 in the Zabida Bodo game, 2-2 on aggregate, but Zvezda have an away goal to that. Still evenly balanced between Sparta Prague and Lille in the third of the games. Sparta Prague leading 1-0 on the night, but it's Lille who lead 2-1 in aggregate. These games are all half-time, by the way. And Slovan Bratislava 1, Midtjylland 1, 2-2 now the aggregate score. That's also at half-time. And there's two playoff games that have taken place tonight in the UEFA Conference League. They're both full times. Ghent beat Partizan 1-0 on the night. They've won that game 2-0 on aggregate. And Istanbul Başakşehir 2, St. Pat's Athletic 0. Istanbul going through 2-0 on aggregate. And it keeps you up to date of all around Europe at the moment. We're still waiting for the team to come back, so there's the Paralympics beginning as well. And in the US Open, we've got Ariat Dart in action against the 19th seed Marta Kozak. And it's 5-all in the first set there in Flushing Meadows. Johnny Evans has called time on his Northern Ireland career. The man who won 107 caps. He's brought down his international career after much thought and consideration. Of course, he managed to get to the Euros in 2016 with Northern Ireland. And nothing else to write home about. As I said, Let me just tell you how the Champions League. This is the draw for the Champions League. We're still waiting for the teams to come out at the City Ground. So teams will discover which 8 clubs they'll meet, 4 at home, 4 away. No actual groups will be drawn. They're all going to be one 36-team league phase as compared to the format of 8 14 groups. So how does it work? Teams will be placed into 4 pots according to their seeding. Each team will face 2 teams from each pot, 1 at home, 1 away. And a team will be drawn out of the pot, and then UEFA software will decide their 8 opponents and whether they will be at home or away. It means more matches between the biggest teams. For example, Man City could face Real Madrid, Bayern Munich or Barcelona. The stopware actually stops playing rivals from their own country, and it means that each team can only play 2 clubs from any one country. UEFA have suggested that the computer system plans ahead, so will ensure no further teams get down the line get drawn against teams they cannot face. Personally, these are some of the teams that have already qualified. So England, I've got Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool and Aston Villa. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Girona and Atletico Madrid are the Spanish entrants. Both Milan clubs, Juventus, Atalanta and Bologna, 5 teams competing for Italy this time round. Bayer Leverkusen, this is Germany. Bayer Leverkusen, Stuttgart, Bayern Munich, Red Bull Leipzig and Borussia Dortmund are the 5 competing for Germany. 3 teams from France. They are Paris Saint-Germain, Monaco and Brest. For Holland, we've got PSV Eindhoven and Feyenoord, just 2 there. Further 2 from Portugal, Sporting Lisbon and Benfica. And then 1 club from Belgium called Bruges. 1 from Scotland, which is Celtic. 2 from Austria, Sturm Graz and Salzburg. Ukraine, I've got Shakhtar Donetsk. Switzerland, the Young Boys. Sparta Prague for the Czech Republic. And that's who's in the draw at the moment. Robertson's just equalised for Southampton. We're about to get underway here at the City Ground. Both teams are out on the pitch and it's Newcastle to Cheddar's underway. 1-0. They scored within 19 seconds at the start of the first half. Our watch is definitely on time now. Who needs Tagoya when you've got a Russ Burning time in things? Anyway, just to reconvene with the teams, starting with Forest, Miguel in goal, Bowie, Ormandani and Abbott. Looks like they've gone to a back 3 with Moriera, Anderson, Dominguez and Moreno. Jota Silva up front for Forest. Awoni and Souza up front. It looks as if they're going to 2 up top now. Newcastle with Pope in goal, Trippier, Craftburn and Hall. Of course, there was a change at half. Of course, Guimarães is now in the midfield crew with Tonali and Joe Linton. And it's Almiron, Isaac and Barnes up top. Just to remind you there. So Robertson. As well, we'll try and get a few guests on. Mike wants to come on later as well, talk about Arsenal. We will bring you the draw incidentally, so it's going to be a long old night here on the JB Sports platform. Hopefully we can get everything sorted out. Hopefully no one will need to go to penalties and we can then all sit back and relax for the draw, and we might have 1 or 2 special guests. So just to remind yourself, Southampton have just equalised. Robertson's just equalised for Cardiff. Rear piece there. Good game that at the Cardiff City Stadium. Must be said, it's a good match. So far, Wimbledon are winning. Wycombe Wanderers are in the draw as things stand. Wolves are definitely more than through, even with 12 minutes to play. And I hate to say that. I'll say that through gritted teeth as a Burnley fan. We'll touch on their woes a little bit later on after the match here at the City Ground. Don't forget, we'll have the draw for you. Brentford winning 1-0 at Colchester. Another busy night of midweek football here in the Carabao Cup and UEFA Champions League qualifiers. Looks like Croatia will be, Dynamo Zagreb will be represented. Lille could be a fourth representation if they hang on to that 2-1 lead, remember. That Champions League draw, though, from what I've been trying to describe to you, it's a very complicated system. Be interesting to watch that draw tomorrow, and we'll see how that pans out, really. Which will get a much more simpler draw for the knockouts, for the next round of the Carabao Cup. Mike Harneman, I will bring on, and we'll talk in depth about the draw as it happens. Alexander Isak is just out at the moment, injured. Scored 25 last season. He's a very, very good striker. Obviously, he's looked pretty sharp tonight without troubling too much. He's had a couple of opportunities. Of course, he played a part in the only goal scored after 17, 18 seconds. Newcastle Bizio is quite busy tonight. And I'll try and keep up to date with the game at the moment, but it's a bit stop-start, so that's why we're talking not much about the game. So I do apologise if people are hoping to hear a bit more of the commentary, but it's been a bit of a stop-start first 4 minutes of the second half. Forest still have a long throw in now. It's going to be Zach Hammett to throw into the penalty area. Long throw, in it goes. And the ball might break. Oh, it's gone in! It's a goal for Forest! It's a goal for Forest. It's with the right foot. And it's Silva. Jota Silva with his first goal of the season. His first goal in Nottingham Forest colours. And the tricky trees are level. Telling them right to their fans. And Newcastle will be kicking themselves. They had ample chances in the first half to extend the lead. They didn't take it in. It all came from a long throw-in, which caused all the problems. And Jota Silva is absolutely beside himself with joy. What a throw-in that was. In fact, it was actually Moreno with the throw-in. The ball didn't only hooked away. I'm just trying to think out. I think Burner got it halfway and it goes in off the crossbar. He struck this with such venom here on the bounce with the right foot. Yes, hits the bar and goes in the net. Clearly went over the line. Sam Allison gives the go. Forest getting themselves level, and it's his first ever goal competitively for Nottingham Forest. A great effort from the Portuguese. And we've got a cup tie on our hands down at the City Ground. It's Nottingham Forest 1, Newcastle United 1, and the 4 times winners are right back in this tie. And what a way to get the first goal for your new club. That is some goal, that. That's really, really a stunning goal. Pope never even moved. It was just a really, really humdinger strike. One of the goals of the second round for me. Up there with the goal I described for Jay Stansfield last night in the Birmingham Fulham game. Now we've got a proper cup tie in our hands, and at the moment of spring stand, we're going straight to penalties. But here's Anderson for Forest, midway inside his own half. And here is Willy Willy, the skipper. Played with Nuno Santo, played under Nuno Santo at Wolves. Joe Linton wins it back, finds Lewis Howell. Now Harvey Barnes. Newcastle attacking the bridge for them, where all their supporters are congregating behind. And that's surely got to be a foul there on Jota Silva, and that's got to be a bookable offence as well. That looked a professional foul from Guimarães. And Sam Allinson duly gets the book out. I think that's the right thing. Jota wants a bit more than that. I don't think he's going to get more than that. It's a yellow card. Leave it at that. And if Jota's not careful, he'll teach himself. He'll end up going in the book himself. But This is the goal again. And what? That's not the goal. It is a foul, but it's a yellow card. Nothing more, nothing less. But the referee was spot on there. I don't think there was any need for Jota to react in the way that he did. So Guimaraes has been confirmed as a booking. As the free kick comes in now towards shows a reflected arm, and it's straight into the arms of Nick Pope. And Jota has been booked as well for the descent. Presumably he said something out of turn for Mr. Allison, the referee. So those two have got to watch themselves, otherwise it could be an early bath tonight. Ball knocked down the line. Oh, that's a foul. That's surely got to be a tug back. That's another yellow card. Silly. Silly, silly. One or two bad challenges we've seen already tonight. This is the latest one from Zach Abbott. It's a silly foul. He was going nowhere there. Mr. Allison was right again. He's had a super match, the referee. Tom Allison, a former player of his own steam, played at Football League level, so he's no slouch. Will not stand any nonsense tonight. 3 bookings in the space of a couple of minutes here. What's an equalising goal? It has been confirmed to me from Mike that it was an imaginary yellow card. There was a little hint of that when he was getting up, actually, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, Trippier with the 3 kick for Newcastle. In it goes. The goalkeeper was not sure whether to stick or twist, whether to come and catch it or just stay on the goal line. He was in no man's land as it happens. Trippier's 3 kick didn't have much venom in it. This is the goal again. It's a great strike, this, from Jota Silva. Now, how far over the line was that ball? There wasn't a lot to spare. Oh, it's hit the back of the net. There's no doubt about it. From the first angle I saw it from the naked eye, it looked as if it hit the post and then sort of come back out. But must have crossed the line at the time. But having seen that replay again from the goal line, in line, it was way over the line. It hit the back of the net, but it didn't ripple the net as much as it did, and that's what caught a lot of people out. But we knew from the reaction of the goal scorer that it had crossed the line, so it was 1-1. We've got a game on. I think that was the moment that the game was just petering out somewhat a little bit in the opening 4 or 5 minutes. And we've got a goal. We've got an equalising goal, and they've got a good one as well. Still no score in the West Ham Bournemouth game. That's petering out at the moment. We're going out to play. Wolves are safely through. I think there's no doubt about that. I've been looking at the stats. It's an open and shut case, really. Burnley have not had, from what I've seen from BBC Stats, they've not managed one single shot on target, which I think is absolutely pathetic. But anyway, here come Forest now. They've got an idea of winning it. Anderson trying to chip the keeper. He only just chipped it wide. It was a terrific effort by Elliot Anderson, number 8. He attempted to flick it over the goalkeeper, and he almost did magnificently here. Half a yard. He thought to himself, I might have a go here. That's the case. If you don't enter the raffle, you don't win the prize. Chances are he was not far away. You have to say at this stage, Nuno Espirito's side are in the ascendancy here. Remember, both teams unbeaten to start the season. A draw and a win apiece. And both have played Southampton and Bournemouth respectively. Newcastle, as I said, they kept themselves very, very fortunate to come away with nothing there, because come away with a point, because they should have lost that match on Saturday. Even Alan Shearer himself said that. You need to staunch Newcastle bad as they come. Zach Cabot has given the ball away to Joe Linton. You don't want to be doing that. Or Harvey Barnes for that matter. No foul. Play on. Forest in possession on the edge of their own area. Well read by Dan Burn. The big, sprawling 6'5" centre-back does really well. Time from Brighton and Hove Albion. Joe Linton has gone down midway inside the Forest half. Free kick to the Geordies. And Forest preparing a substitution. It's number 31. Milanovic. No changes in any of the other scores. Burnley now limping towards a 2-0 defeat. Into stoppage time at Molineux. And fair credit to Wolves tonight. From the statistics and from what I've heard, they probably deserved their win tonight. So no complaints. Absolutely from me. Meanwhile, Newcastle have won a corner. But the league was always going to be the priority for Burnley this season. All focused now on the big derby match on Saturday against Blackburn. Corner comes in well held by Carlos Miguel. With an all-blue goalkeeping strip. Isaac trying to stop him there. Isaac's allowed to wander around, you know. Ball's in place, so he's entitled to stop the goalkeeper. Well within the rules. There's Elliot Anderson there for Forest. Nothing came of much of that. And the ball was kicked away safely by the Forest goalkeeper. There he came. Let's go. At the moment is West Ham against Bournemouth. All the other scores the same. Here's Elliot Anderson on the left-hand side for Forest. Attacking the Trent end incidentally in the second half. Round the corner. Now a chance for Awani to chase. But Dan Burn, quick as a flash, gets there and does remarkably well. The big 6'4", 6'5" defender, signed, as I said, from Brighton. So no changes either way, as we're now going to see a double substitution. We're going to see number 6 as well. That's Sagari. He's come on for Zach Abbott, who's on a yellow card, of course. And Jota Silva is being replaced. And what a goal he got as well. It was a terrific shot, as I said, from the edge of the area. He struck it right-footed. It was a venomous shot that hit the post and went in. And in his place is Milinkovic. Singari and Milinkovic now on for Abbott and Silva, respectively. Forest have another throw, which Alex Moreno's going to take. The long throw was profitable last time. Will it prove to be another invaluable weapon for Forest? Have we unfailed the new Laurie Dillette? We're going to see Anthony Gordon as well come on. And Memento as well is going to come on. We're also going to see, I think, Longstaff on as well. So a triple substitution. Almiron is one of the first coming off. Anthony Gordon, the ex-Evertonian, comes on. Looks like his game's improved tenfold since joining Newcastle from Everton. Pimento is now on as well. We'll get all these confirmed, of course, in due course. And Sean Longstaff is going to come on as well for Newcastle. Tony Allen is going to come up as well. The midfield players had a good game. Had a couple of opportunities himself, half chances, but nothing came of that. And Longstaff now comes on. So we'll get these confirmed. Trippier's the other player that's gone. So Almiron, Trippier and Tony Ali off. Gordon, Livramento, Longstaff on. Right, here comes the throw then from Alex Moreno. Near side, almost in line with the 18-yard box of Newcastle. In it goes towards the penalty area. Headed away by Big Dan Burn for another Forest throw. So the danger not over yet for Newcastle United. One apiece it is with 62 minutes on the clock. Moreno's cross, he knocks it back across the face. It's just too long, and Lewis Hall should be able to see that for a throw, and he does. Throw to Newcastle. So Wolverhampton Wanderers as good as through against Burnley. They're now playing, and last knockings in that one. Burnley hopelessly outclassed tonight. when you look at the statistics, I haven't seen any of the game, obviously, because I've been doing this one, but from what I've seen, it's not been a good night. Wimbledon are 2-1 up now against Ipswich Town. Currently still 2-1 up. Cardiff City, Southampton, 3 apiece. That looks like penalties written all over it. Colchester 0, Brentford 1. Swansea 0, on the brink of going out. Being beaten by Wycombe Wanderers by a goal to 0. And the only goals game at the moment is West Ham 0, Bournemouth 0. That's probably got penalties written all over it as well. And this one could be going to penalties too. We've got some drama there. The whistle's gone at Molineux. Wolves are comfortably through. So 2-0 there. No quarrels with the scoreline. Quaid is with a brace. Burnley really. You look at the team there and what they had. It was always going to be a tough ask. Hannibal made his debut, incidentally, and he was replaced at half-time by a youngster there. It's a sad state of affairs, which we'll touch on a little bit more at full-time with the wholesale changes to the team. Not fewer than 12 players have got in 6 days. Beggars belief. Anyway, still a bit to go in this game. Let's concentrate on this one on the TCL on all platforms. And of course, we've got to choose a player of the match. Well, I certainly have anyway. As we now go into the final knock-ins this evening. Eddie Howe knows his side are up against it now as Awani breaks a good break. And here's another chance here for Forest. Shot comes in from Nicholas Dominguez, left-footed, just to the left of the penalty spot, and he absolutely scuffed it, and Nick Pope was able to get across and make a very comfortable regulation save. As Andy Ogbandelli gets the ball away, and here's Alex Moreno again. Well, gets a deflection, he's gone out of play. And you know what's coming next, folks? Long throw from Moreno. Well, one of those long throws led to the equalising goal. Beautifully executed by Jota Silva to make it 1-1. Here it comes now. It's gone short this time. Gets it back again. Now then, what's the cross like? It's a good one, dangerous one. Right across that 6-yard line. It just screeched along the 6-yard box. And in the end, no one could get a telling touch, and it's going to be a Newcastle throw-in. Love across this from Barredo from the left-hand side. And, oh, it just needed a touch from someone in red. And Newcastle just under the cosh a wee bit now. As we now go rapidly up towards the midway point of the second half. We've had over 20 minutes of play in the second half. Still 1 apiece. Game still there to be won in normal time. Forest up the more likely scorers at the moment. And they've got a free kick just over halfway inside the Newcastle half to Forest. And there's an injury here. Tom Allison, the referee, already got his caution card out. Definite foul there on Moreira. It's Lewis Hall who's going to go in the book. He's claiming he got the ball. I didn't think he got the ball, quite honestly, but Mr. Allison will have his own ideas on that one. But Lewis Hall definitely in the book now. Been a good match. Been a real, I mean, we've had 2 real cracking cup games. And of course, we brought you a little bit of Robin's defeat last night at Fleetwood. Wolverhampton Wanderers definitely in the draw for the next round of the Carabao Cup. They're going to be ball number 32, incidentally. You see another substitution here for Nottingham Forest. It's number 7, Nico Williams, is going to enter the fray now. 67.5 minutes played then on the TC Abernor platforms. We're also going to see Callum Hudson-Odoi too. So Nico Williams is about to come on. Callum Hudson-Odoi is also about to come on as well. So we'll get all these cleared up in due course. Soldiers coming off. Callum Hudson-Odoi came through the ranks at Chelsea. Everyone said down there he'd been the next big thing. He's had a flurry of injuries as well, which hasn't helped. So Moriera and Sosa off. Williams and Hudson-Odoi both on. So 2-0. 1-1, sorry, here. Hannibal, Paul James said Hannibal looked good. Lucky. Looked good. So Paul obviously thinking that Hannibal's got a good future there. He does look a good player. Maybe I had misgivings about him. Anyway, here's Williams. Let's just see what he can do. Oh, only on the turn and a good last bit defending there from Emil Kraft. Otherwise, I've got a funny feeling that would have been 2-1 for Nottingham Forest. Meanwhile, Isak trying to break away, but he's surrounded by 3 red shirts from Nottingham Forest. Well, let's just tell Hannibal has a plan. Has got a plan. Our Hannibal Smith from the A-team to beat Blackburn on Saturday. Meanwhile, we've got an injury there. Dominguez is hurt. I'm assuming it's a head injury because the referee stopped the play. Which is good defending from one of the Newcastle lads. Emil Kraft was definitely in there, but Awoni trying to get the shot off on the turn and just couldn't succeed. We'll be on here until about nearly 10:30 tonight. We need a draw and all the other news and views. No US Open victory for Emma Raducanu. She was knocked out yesterday in the first round. Here's Elliot Anderson now for Forest. Turns nicely on the left-hand side, nearest to us. Gives us Dominguez, or Robert Moreno, I should say. Now then, here's Willie Bolly, former Wolves player. 1 apiece with 20 minutes to go. Tantalising. It's a tantalising finish, this one. I think I've got a funny feeling that next goal might win it. Here's the skill from Callum Hudson-Odoi. Ball back in there towards Dominguez. Round the corner. Can't find a Welney. And that's easy there for Nick Pope. There's been a goal at West Ham. There's been a goal at West Ham. And would you believe it? It's super smashing great news for West Ham because Jared Bowen has probably just scored the goal, which takes the Hammers through. So Julian Locatelli, whose side had a terrific win against Crystal Palace, they're going to back that up with a victory at home to Bournemouth. West Ham 1, Bournemouth 0. Jared Bowen hitting the bullseye there for the Hammers. Here in the other game, here in this game, 8:40, 8 o'clock kick-off this one. Here's Harvey Barnes. Switched out to the right-hand side now. He's won his team a free kick. Sam Allison's stopping the play so Alex Moreno can pick up his booking. I have to say, the referee's done no nonsense. He's done well, I think, tonight, Sam Allison. And whatever he's had to do, he's done it really well. Your professional foul's gone in there, hence the flurry of yellow cards, and that's definitely another yellow card offence. Sam Allison is, for a substitute, for a late replacement for John Brooks of Melton Mowbray, has done absolutely expertly. There's the cross coming in, and that could have gone anywhere. Forrest getting away through Willie Bolly, who just boots it up towards halfway. Awoni does well, but concedes the free kick. Foul there on Dan Burn, and Awoni doesn't want to know from Dan Burn, who offered him the hand of friendship. But here is Gordon into the area. Shot comes in, and it was a poor effort really from Lewis Hall, of all people. Typical left-back's effort. Jared Bowen has put in West Ham through against Bournemouth. So at the moment, Burnley are out. Ipswich have just equalised against Wimbledon, and there's a chance there on the far side, but Moreno gets it out for a corner. 2-2 now. Connor Chaplin has just equalised for Ipswich 4 minutes from the end. We're into stoppage time there. That looks like penalties. It also looks like penalties at Cardiff, and it also looks like penalties. No, it looks like at the moment we're on for penalties here at the City Ground. Jared Bowen's goal incidentally came, let me just see, 88th minute, set up by Kudos. It's Kudos for West Ham at the moment. Super smashing night for Bowen as his team hit the bullseye possibly and go through to the third round, where all the big teams will come in. Your Liverpools, your Man Uniteds, your Chelseas, your Aston Villas, your Man Cities and Arsenals and Tottenham and the like. All your European representatives all coming in that third round, of course. Here's Caramo to the Doy in this whole Premier League Carabao Cup game. One apiece. Remember, level after 90, straight to penalties. That's the rules these days. I think all competitions, all knockout competitions should adapt. And I think I'm a very keen believer that extra time doesn't solve too much. Most of the extra time you see these days, it's a very conservative period. Maybe it's the best way to decide games like this. But having said that, there's no perfect way of deciding any football, any cup game. In the olden days, you'd have to, and especially in the FA Cup, you'd have to, and this competition, they used to have replays in this, you know, many years ago. But though they did away with replays in 1998, the Football League. And they used to have replays to decide two-leg semi-finals. If the scores ended level on aggregate, they have a third match. I think an Arsenal-Tottenham semi-final going that way. And they replayed it. They had the replay at White Hart Lane. And there's been a late winner. Looks like we're not going to get penalties after all at Cardiff. Bree with a goal for Southampton. Deep into stoppage time. Has won it for Southampton. First minute of stoppage time. And Cardiff's hearts have been broken in the most cruelest of manners. Cardiff 3, Southampton 4. And the whistle has gone at the other game between Swansea and Wickham. And it looks like a double whammy for Wales tonight. Not only Cardiff are going out, but Swansea have already gone. They've been knocked out by Wickham Wanderers. That goal in the 40th minute from Coney, enough for Wickham Wanderers to go through. That has been confirmed as a result. Here's Harvey Barnes. We've still got a quarter of an hour to go plus stoppage time in this one. Barnes again. Here's Livramento. Back to Barnes on the right-hand side. Whistles beginning to sound from the 7:45s up and down the land. I'll bring you the Champions League scores as soon as we get a break in play as well. There's some qualifiers. Dynamo Zagreb, as you know, are already through 5-0 in aggregate. They kicked off very early on. About 5 o'clock they kicked off in Qarabag. And looks like Zabeda are going to go through. They're 2-0 up on Bodo. Lille have equalised in the second leg against Sparta Prague. They're 3-1 up in aggregate and going through. And Mitterrand have scored a second against Slovan Bratislava. They're 3-2 up on aggregate. They could be going into the draw tomorrow, where all the big guns will be. So as things stand, there's 2 matches heading towards a penalty shootout. Wimbledon against Ipswich. Looks a fair bet that's going to happen now. And our match here at the City Ground. Forest 1, Newcastle 1. Here's Lewis Hall. Dominguez has just been booked as well for another foul. So it's all happening here at the City Ground. 13 to play. 1 apiece it is. Plus injury time, of course. Still, there's the shot coming in from Hall and it's just gone wide. Gone way wide. And Southampton have just scored another one to make it absolutely safe. So Wales suffer a double whammy. And it looks as if there will be no Welsh representation in the League Cup. Cameron Archer has just scored again for Southampton. And that should do it for them now. So, just to confirm, Wolves are through. Southampton as good as through. Brentford are going through. Wickham are through. West Ham are going through. And Forest and Newcastle still don't know. And Wimbledon and Ipswich don't know. They're going to penalties, incidentally. That has been confirmed as a result. There's a substitution taking place now for Nottingham Forest and for Newcastle too. Off goes Patterson. On comes Anthony Elanga, the Swede. Anthony Elanga, who is a former Manchester United player, of course, missed that FA Cup penalty, you may remember, decisive one against Middlesbrough when he blasted into Rose Ed. Mike Arneman will remember that one very, very, very well. I didn't know you could think back to 1987, Mike. I'm trying to think who got the winner that night. I think it was Michael Thomas, got the winner that night. That replay very famous for Brian Moore's commentary. Arsenal going through to Wembley. They went on to win that year, of course, against Liverpool. Cross comes in from Forest, but it's well booked out the air. So the whistle has gone. The whistle has gone at Cardiff. So Cardiff 3, Southampton 5. Southampton are through, but they've had to work doubly hard. Pushed all the way by Cardiff. Foul throw-in. It's not often you see that in a professional game. I have to say, Sam Allinson has been bang on the money in most of his decision making tonight. I've been very impressed by the way he's refereed this game tonight. It's been absolutely superb. So we've got about 10 minutes to go in that one. Remember, they're still playing at Colchester, but it looks like Brentford are going through. We're playing to 9 minutes at stoppage time at the London Stadium, where West Ham are winning for a Jared Bowen goal. He hit the bullseye. It's a super smashing night for West Ham, who've never won the League Cup themselves. They've been runners-up on one occasion, 1981. The whistle has actually gone up to Upton Park then. The London Stadium, 1-0 to West Ham. They've gone through. I'm just going to update the penalties. Penalties still to be taken, incidentally. So Wimbledon about to just have their penalties. They're just about to go in that penalty shootout. Wimbledon. And we'll keep you updated. Wimbledon have just scored their first penalty. 1-0 it is to them. We'll let you know who wins that one as soon as we get news. 10 minutes to go. 9 minutes to go in this one. We've just hit 81 minutes. Forest and Newcastle are 1-1. Is it going to be a time where Nuno Espirito Santo and Eddie Howe now have got to start thinking ahead for a penalty shootout? It's going to be one of those it's going to be one of those moments as well. But here's Miguel, who's been a virtual spectator this second half because most of the attacks have been with Nottingham Forest. So it's Red Star Belgrade, I should say. It's Red Star Belgrade. The BBC have sold me a duddy, so it's Red Star Belgrade. I don't know why they've got it as a different name there, but so it's Red Star Belgrade. We've got that right. Yeah, thanks, Paul, for correcting me there. Here's Harvey Barnes into the penalty area. Newcastle now looking to win it in front of their own supporters. In fact, you weren't even born. I'm trying to think then. Yeah, well, Anyway, corner now to Newcastle. Ball there was in when they took the lead very early doors after just 19 seconds, accurately timed by our answer to Tagoya. Russell Vernon. You need Tagoya when you've got Russ Vernon timing. And then the equaliser, terrific goal from Jota Silva. Here comes the corner. And it goes deep there. Header one, and it's wide from Dan Burn. Just missed the far left-hand post. Kind of been a lot to spare. Nice out-swinging corner. Burn was definitely on mark. Static Forest defending and marking. Good conviction on a header, but lacked the accuracy. 2-2 now in the penalty shootout between Wimbledon and Ipswich. Here's Joe Linton now for Newcastle. We've got about 7 minutes or so plus injury time to find a late goal here. Otherwise, we've got a penalty shootout ourselves. Referee Sam Anderson allowing the game to go on. Both teams, remember, unbeaten already competitively this season and winning a draw each. Here's Harvey Barnes. Good play, Livramento did what for challenge. Pull back for Barnes. He's hitting it right-footed and he's hitting into the side netting. What a guilty chance that was for Newcastle to put themselves through to the next round. Harvey Barnes, the former Leicester player, almost sinking Nottingham Forest with 6 minutes to spare there. Livramento did really well, cutting from the right-hand side. Rolled a couple of good sliding Forest challenges which completely missed the mark completely. Especially the attempted slide one from Moreno, and in the end Barnes right-footed slicing into the side of the net. So it's one apiece here. Don't forget, we've got transfer deadline live on Friday night. Russ Burden will be with you, bring you all the last minute deals on the final day of the deadline. Will Burnley sign 12 players on that day? Oh, well, they sell more. We'll find out with Russ Burden on all TCL platforms. Make a date with him Friday night. If you want to stay in and wash your hair, wash it with Russ Vernon on the transfer deadline day. And I'm sure you'll have a nice bright yellow t-shirt on as well to mark the occasion too. Anyway, here is Callum Hudson-Odoi crossing to the penalty area. It's a good one, and it came, and there was a man finding him at the back post. It was Nico Williams. Wimbledon lead 3-2 on penalties now in that shootout against Ipswich Town. Ipswich with 2 defeats to the name. A good header away, in fact, by Lewis Hall. It's a corner to Nottingham Forest. We've got less than 4 minutes to play. Forest 1, Newcastle 1. Anthony Elanga's going to take the corner for Notts Forest. Is there a late twist in the tail in this cup tie? Here comes the corner. Elanga in there. Goalkeeper wasn't sure whether to stay at home, stick or twist there. And Hudson-Odoi playing the ball in, but it's easy for Nick Pope to take with no great difficulty. And we've heard that Ipswich are out of the cup, and a great shot there for AFC Wimbledon. They've beaten Ipswich Town after a 2-2 draw, so big result for Wimbledon. So a wonderful occasion for the Wimbledon there. No hoping to get a Man United maybe at home in the next draw. So here come Newcastle now looking to win it themselves. Here's Gordon. Here's Hall. Edge of the area. Guimaraes knocks the ball in. Headed away by the Forest defence. We've got 3 minutes plus stoppage time to play. Here's Longstaff to Livramento. Midway inside the Forest half. Sam Allison said free kick. Yellow card to Sangara coming out now. Warrior yellow cards for professional fouls. Sam Allison has had a great match tonight. Stood no nonsense. So So tonight, going through at the moment, Wolverhampton Wanderers, AFC Wimbledon, Southampton, Brentford, Wycombe Wanderers, and West Ham United. Who's going to join those teams in the next round? Cross comes in, punched away by Miguel. Only as far as Lewis Hall. Forest and Newcastle, deadlocked at 1 apiece. We're inside almost the final 2 minutes of normal time. And we might have those dreaded penalty kicks. Wimbledon through. So let me confirm. Wolves have gone through 2-0 against Burnley. That was a 7:30 kickoff. Deservedly so for Wolves. Wimbledon through on penalties after a 2-2 draw. 4-2. Cardiff 3, Southampton 5. It's definitely the game of the night. Colchester 1, Colchester 0, Robert Brentford 1. Wycombe through against Swansea. West Ham 1, Bournemouth 0. They're all results. This one's still got a couple of minutes to run in this one. We'll get an indication from the fourth official how long that's going to be. Here's Joelinton. Newcastle, who have twice come runners-up in this competition in 76 and 2023, are on the attack now. Livramento into the area. Forest hanging on in there. The 4-time winner. Lewis Hall, good strike and a good save. Diving away to his left-hand side by Carlos Miguel. That looked as if Lewis Hall had come up with a bit of genius here. Left-footed strike. It was going in the top corner. But Carlos Miguel swung himself to his left and got 2 big hands on it. Cross comes in and it was Livramento with the cross. Goes out of play and a goal kick has been given. But what a save. Lewis Hall nearly nicked it for Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall there. But it still remains 1-1. Looks like we could have an 18th draw, regardless what happens if it does end a draw. It will count as a draw. In the all-time stats, they've played 77 previous games. This is the 78th tonight. In 77 previous games, Newcastle have won 36, Forest 24, and 17 have been drawn. Looks like we're going to have number 18. Regardless who got thrown penalties, of course. We've got 5 added minutes at the end of the game. So 5 added minutes, folks. And of course, I've got a player of the match to choose. I'll choose it after this next attack. And here is Harvey Barnes. Barnes turns. Goes back to Dan Burn. Burn now to Hall. Hall looks for support here. Is Joelinton the man to provide the winning moment here for Newcastle? Number 7. Oh, Linton shoots well down the goalkeeper's throat. Player of the match is sponsored by Commentary Services. Just on the sheer brilliance of the strike to bring Forest level. And his all-round work rate tonight before he was substituted. I'm going to give the player of the match to Jota Silva. He looked an absolute steal for £10 million. Has looked absolutely superb tonight and has caused Newcastle no end of problems. So I'm going to give it Jota Silva for Nottingham Forest, our player of the match, sponsored, of course, by Commentary Services. There we go. Flash it up on the screen for you there for all to see. I wonder how you viewers and listeners see that. Good choice, or would you have chosen differently? Let me know in the comments. Well, we've still a bit of time to go here in this stoppage time. We've played a minute and a half of the 5. Free kick to Forest. Dan Burn was up there in my thinking, but because of the goal that Silva had scored, it would have been very, very harsh not to have given him that. Not only that, he worked very hard up top as well and caused Burn and Croft no end of problems. And Forest here in the 3rd minute of stoppage time, as we go into that 3rd minute now. We've played 2 minutes, we're into the 3rd of 5. Have a free kick, and if they can win it from here, well, the City ground will go absolutely mental. Moreno to take the free kick. Left of centre. 30 yards from goal. It's going to be floated in by Moreno. Into the area it goes, and well defended by Isaac, I think, who got back there. I think did some good defending work. Yes, it was. So again, cue the long throw from Moreno, almost in line with the 18-yard box on the left-hand side for Forest. Schultz is... Can he do a roaring lap again and cause Newcastle problems? Moreno, the long throw, into the area it goes. Comes to Upton Odoi, you miscontrolled it on the edge of the box. The ball's back on halfway now with Milanovic, and now back with Miguel. A stunning save right at the last knock-ins. Now then, Nico Williams might get there, but Dan Burn is there. Nods it back to Pope. Just Pope. Nico Williams might have got on the end of that for a second. He was running in like a train there. Yes, we'll be bringing you the third round draw tonight, Alfie. So I don't know who you support, but if you are one of the big teams, or you're supporting one of the big teams, your team will be in that draw. Man United, Liverpool, Man City, whoever it is. Here's the shot coming in from Lewis Hall, light-footed. It's Anthony Gordon, rather. And it's well held again by Miguel. We've got about just over a minute. But before we bring you any draw, we've still got the penalties possibly to bring you first. He's an Evertonian. Well, you're in the draw. Good 3-0 win over Doncaster Rovers last night. First win of the season. Hopefully the cup could provide a nice little springboard for Everton to start producing in the league. Pope now gets it out. We're inside the final minute of the 5, and I should stress it's a minimum of. As things stand, we're going straight to a penalty shootout. And if we do get that far, I will remind you of the rules of that. With Memento with possession. Dan Burn. 15 seconds of the match to go. Isaac, this is surely going to be the last attack from me by one of these sides. Lewis Hall, 41 in a few moments ago. Gets the crossing from the left-hand side. It was charged away. He gets a second go. Hall from the left-hand side, tossed into the area. Forest make a complete dog's dinner of clearing it. But Barnes can't capitalise. And Longstaff now. Here's Barnes into the area. Livramento is on the overlap. Picks up the loose ball, but Sam Allison blows for full time. So what will happen now? There is no extra time in the League Cup in these early rounds. So what will happen now? There will be lists compiled for penalty takers from Messrs. Eddie Howe and Nuno Espirito Santo. And who knows what might happen. Now it's all going to be decided from 12 yards range. So the players now will go into a little huddle. We're going to stay with you now because obviously it's all about choosing the lists. Alfie says bring some speed into the changing room. Now this is the moment. I think there's a couple of penalty saves in this game. There's the Wimbledon penalty that won it. It was a super penalty and a great moment for them. Goodman, one of the heroes in the goal there for Wimbledon. The penalty to win it was a super penalty. And well, great moment for those Wimbledon fans who have come up the right way. The original Wimbledon abandoned and then went up to Milton Keynes. Something I don't agree with personally. But this Phoenix Club, AFC Wimbledon, they've come up through the non-leagues. They've done it the hard way. And they're in the Football League and deservedly having a good night. And who can begrudge them of that? Mike says I'm 35 seconds behind you. Sorry, Mike. So we're all set to go. I can tell you that I'm actually on Twitter at the moment and the Clarets boards are in complete meltdown. I'll have my say on the results after I've finished here live from the City Ground, but there's still more drama to come 12-yard variety of drama. Drama in these games, in penalty shootouts, but still actually Inspector Morse in the shade. Now the toss-up will be for Ent, I think, from Sam Allison. It looks as if the penalties, by the looks of it, are going to be taken down the Trent end. So we're going to go to our left and to the Trent end for the penalties. Now, no second toss-up. Who's going to go first? And it looks as if Forest may have won that one too. So, here we go. Hold on to your hats, folks. We're in for a bumpy, it's going to be a great ride. It's always nice to do a penalty shootout. So, that's the only regret we're not doing the Euros, because we had a few of those today. We had one or two of those shootouts as well in the Euros. Chris Watt, who's not been required tonight. Unused substitute. Everyone has used up their substitutes now. There's a little HUD up on the Newcastle players. There's a lot of experience in that Newcastle squad. Even the substitutes have got vast experience. Nick Pope. Not a bad penalty stopper, in fact. He's saved a few penalties in his time, Nick Pope. So that could be a key. He's all in green tonight. Having a little laugh there, having a little giggle there with referee Sam Allison. There's the other goalkeeper, Carlos Miguel. Always tends these moments before a penalty shootout, or penalty competition, as Trevor would say. And of course, the goalkeepers will have their special bottles with the names of possible penalties and where they might go and all that jazz. I'm sure Nick Pope will have exactly the same instructions there. Both goalkeepers, Pat Hans and Sam Allison, saying, right, you stay on your line before the kick's taken, you do not encroach. So he's giving it out to both goalkeepers. There's also a linesman there locking in as well, so the goalkeepers obviously will try to climb as much advantage as they possibly can. And as I suspected, the penalties will be taken down the Trent end away to my left. So one of these great clubs will be out tonight. The 4 times winners will go first. Winners in 78, 79, 1989 and 1990. Twice winners up in 1980 and 1992. Nottingham Forest bidding to reach their 8th final if they can get through this first phase tonight. The Forest fans hold their breath. Nick Pope takes guard in goal. He's going to face first. And it's Callum Hudson-Odoi who's going to go first in the penalties competition for Nottingham Forest. Going to be a right-footed penalty, short run up. Callum Hudson-Odoi, 1-0. Pope going the wrong way, or going the right way, I should say, but it was right in that far left right-hand corner. 1-0 for Nottingham Forest. Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now Alex Isak for Newcastle United. He's going to be the first one up for them. Just to remind the rules, 5 penalties apiece. If it's level after 5, it's sudden death. And I'll explain that if we reach sudden death. So that's just a little reminder of the rules. But the first one of the statutory 5 for Newcastle will be taken by Alexander Isak for Eddie Howe's Newcastle. Goalkeeper Miguel, kicking both posts, takes his place in the centre of the goal. Can move along the line, but not off it before the kick is taken. It's Isak, right-footed. 1-1 down the middle. Goalkeeper almost got a hand on it. It was over his arm and into the back of the net. And it's 1 apiece now in the penalty shootout after 1 kick each. Now a centre-back, Milinkovic, is going to go next now for Nottingham Forest. Remember, these penalties are being taken in front of the Forest fans at the Trent end of the ground. So you think at this stage Forest have their advantage. They were both the coin tossers. Double right-footed penalty coming up here. Nick Pope ready on his line. He has to stand dead central here. Sam Allison will be looking for encroaching as well. What's his linesman? Here's Milinkovic with the second Forest penalty. And he sends Pope the wrong way with a consummate of ease. 2-1 for Forest, but Newcastle still have the one kick in hand. Lovely penalty. And now, this is a real test of everyone's mental nerve. Doesn't matter what competition you're in, whether it's the second round of a League Cup or a World Cup semi-final. Penalties are heart-rending business. And Joe Linton is the next in the firing line for Newcastle United. He's about to take their second penalty. Again, another right-footed strike of the ball. Will it be 2-2? Goalkeeper bounces along the line. Can't come off it, of course. Joe Linton. It's saved! The goalkeeper diving away to his left-hand side. Palms it away. He read it well. He didn't come off the line until the kick was taken. And Miguel, who's made two or three super saves tonight for Nottingham Forest, has given Forest a big advantage here in the shootout. Oh, doesn't he love it? He loves it all right. Swinging the fist around with a great big grin on his face. John Linton has missed the first kick. Now Nico Williams with the Forest kick. This could put them well and truly in complete control. Another right-footed effort. And it's beyond Pope, who dived the right way, but it was in the right-hand corner. And Forest now lead by 3 goals to 1. They're 2 ahead. And now Newcastle will be quivering because this needs to go in now. The next one from Newcastle. He's had a super match, that Miguel. If he's the reserve keeper, he's some reserve goalkeeper. Only beaten after 19 seconds tonight, but from that moment on, he's had a super match. Now Gimaraj must score this penalty. Has to score. Really to keep Newcastle in this game. It's not sudden death at this stage if he misses. Gimaraj scores this time into the right-hand corner. Newcastle still in it. 3-2, but Forest, if they score the next one and Newcastle miss, it will be all over. So they'll be relying on Nick Pope now to keep up this next penalty from Sangara. It looks like happy, well, for about 45 minutes, about 30 minutes tonight. Well, it was going to be a routine result for Newcastle, but it's been anything but. Forest with a 3-2 lead. Newcastle have missed 1. Forest have scored all 3. Sangara, another right footer. All been right-footed efforts so far. Pope again, central on his line. Shortish run-up, about 3-4 step run-up. Sangara, right-footed. He's hit the crossbar! Has hit the crossbar, and Newcastle have a chance to draw level with their 4th penalty. He sent Pope the wrong way. Pope dives to his left as he looked, and he's flicked it up against the crossbar. And Forest, from what looked a certain penalty shootout victory, could be a lot now, unless Miguel can come up with more heroics here. Well, they could be pegged back level at 3-all. Everybody linking arms, whether you're a Newcastle player or a Nottingham Forest player. It's Anthony Gordon. Scouted by birth, but definitely adopted Geordie now. Another right footer. This to draw it level with 1 penalty each still to come. The Trent End trying to put him off. Right footed, scores into the left corner. 3-3 now. And 1 kick each of the statutory 5 still to go. It could all turn on the next 2 kicks of a football. The 5th kick for Nottingham Forest. This is tension of the highest order. Nick Pope hasn't saved one. The one that Forrest missed it came crashing off the bar. It's going to be Awoni to take the 5th penalty. The big, bulky striker. This is practically sudden death now. If one team fails and the other team scores, that's it. If both miss, we go to sudden death. If both score, we go to sudden death. Another right-footed. It's all been the right-footed union tonight. Awoni for Nottingham Forest. He's blazing over the crossbar. Can you believe it? He was too casual, and Forest are on the brink of going out if Newcastle score the final penalty. The Geordies looked down and out about 2 minutes ago. I don't think he was going to score, even if it had been on target, because Pope had guessed right. He's inconsolable. Sean Longstaff, with the responsibility on his shoulders now. If he scores, Newcastle are through. Right-footed again. Longstaff scores for Newcastle! And it's 2,500 Geordies who celebrated one down at the Bridgeford end. And it's Newcastle United after the most dramatic penalty shootout. When it looked as if at 3-1 they were down and out. Forest missed 2. They blazed one over the bar. They hit the bar with 1. And at the end of the day, Forest could only look back and wonder. The 4 times winners under Brian Clough are out. And it's Newcastle who reached the final 2 years ago, who are through, but only just by the skin of their teeth. It was a dramatic cup tie, played in a terrific spirit. No save for Nick Pope. He didn't need to make one in the end. And look at the upset on Awoni's face. It's been an emotional night. It's been a great game of we've seen 2 great nights of real cup tie football here on the TCO. Still, we've got the third round draw still to come. We'll bring news of that to you live, but the Newcastle fans, well, they'll be relieved more than anything else. Eddie Howe's team are through. Well, it looked at all intents and purposes though that the goalkeeper, Miguel, when he made that save, it looked at all the while that Forest were going to have it all their own way. They won the 2 coin tosses, and you felt then, I did honestly secretly think that the pendulum may have swung their way. But Forest missed those 2 vital ones at the end. And Newcastle made sure, Sean Longstaff in particular, a Geordie by birth, he made sure that Newcastle, his hometown team, go through on penalties after a dramatic night here at the City Ground. I've seen so many great cup shocks down the last few years. Also coming to Cropper here a few years back, and 3 years ago in the FA Cup, and Leicester were dumped out here as well. But it's Newcastle's night down on the banks of the River Trent. There's a nice young Newcastle fan there grabbing a souvenir off one of the players. The Geordie Nation, well, that another possible road to Wembley is underway for them. They'll be on the coaches they'll be getting on the coaches when the draw is made in a few moments' time. But it's been one of those nights where it's just been, well, it's what cup tie football is all about. And the Geordies will not be going for another while yet. The Newcastle fans really making a nice gesture to their fans. Welcome back, Sandro. It's the cry for Tony Ali, who was substituted towards the end, of course. Look at that. They're standing all as one, players and fans alike. It's It's really good to see. There's a few Forest fans still heading down the exits, but the big priority for Forest and for Nuno is possibly trying to make sure they get 40 points this season and stay in the Premier League possibly for a fourth season. Still a long way to go in the season, of course. They've still got the FA Cup to come, Forest, in January, starting in January for them. So the season far from over for Forest. But for Newcastle, a second road to Wembley is up and underway. One apiece after extra time here. Newcastle going through 4-3 on penalties. And tremendous. It's been a tremendous match. It's been a real privilege to bring you this, bring you the football over 3 nights here on the TC Hub. I very much hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have, but absolutely sure. It's been a rip-roaring ride. So let's so obviously we've everything's been settled. Let's just recap all the scores then from tonight. 2 times went to penalties tonight. Our match 4-3 for Newcastle, and the other one was won by AFC Wimbledon against Ipswich Town. So let's run through all the results tonight. Before we go to the draw, let's run through all the results all around Europe tonight, because there's been plenty of games going on as well elsewhere. Spanish La Liga as well, we'll keep you updated with. And the German Knockout Cup first round there involving Bayer Leverkusen. So let's go through, first of all, with the League Cup second round. Wolves 2, Burnley 0. Wimbledon 2, Ipswich 2. Wimbledon winning that one 4-2 on penalties. Cardiff 3, Southampton 5, and a real thriller there at the Cardiff City Stadium. Colchester 1, Brentford 1. Colchester 0, rather, Brentford 1. And we're just seeing the goal from Jared Bowen here. Here he is. Kudos, and it comes actually, it's a very lucky goal from Jared Bowen. Goes in, I think, off his chest. Yeah, so Brentford winning 1-0. Swansea 1, Wycombe Wanderers 0. This is the 2 Wolves goals. You see it on the monitor. Really lacks Burnley defending here. What was the goalkeeper doing as well? He came out for a ball. He shouldn't have had to get in there. Burnley, what were they doing there? Completely caught out. He was onside because the ball was in his, because he was in his own area as the ball was in his own half as the ball was played. Really suicidal Burnley defending, and I'll touch on them in a little while as well. Raiders with a brace there. Real disappointment for Burnley. So yeah, so Brentford through, Swansea are out, West Ham are through, and Newcastle winning that one, our match on penalties. Right, while we're waiting for the draw, let's get you up to date with all the other scores. So there, all the League Cup scores. Karabag 0, Dynamo Zagreb 2. Dynamo Zagreb go through to this is the Champions League playoff games. They're in the draw for tomorrow. 5-0 winners. Red Star Belgrade are through. They beat Bordeaux 2-0 on the night. 3-2 on aggregate. Lille are through. 2-1 on the night though to Sparta Prague. But Lille, having got a 2-goal lead in the first leg, did enough and won 3-2 on aggregate. And in a terrific game in Bratislava, Slovan Bratislava 3, Midland 2. And it's Slovan Bratislava winning that one 4-3 on aggregate. In the UEFA Conference League, Ghent have knocked out Partizan Belgrade 1-0 on the night, 2-0 on aggregate. And in the other game, Istanbul involving St Patrick's Athletic of Ireland, Istanbul, Bakashir, just too good. 2-0 winners on the night, 2-0 winners on aggregate there. In the Low Island League in Scotland, these names may not be familiar, but we're going to go through those scores. Banksode 2, Huntley 3, Brecon City 2, Deborah Vale 0, Bucky Thistle 8, yes 8, Strathspey Thistle 2, Connor 7, Wick Academy 0, in Aveni Local Works 4, Turriff United 0, Keith 4, Forest Mechanics 0, and Lossiemouth 0, Portomain United 0. In the Women's Premier League in Scotland, it finished Dundee United 2, Queen's Park 3. In La Liga, the game between Real Betis and Getafe was postponed. But elsewhere, there have been games going on. 2 latest scores. We've got a couple of full-timers for you. Athletic Bilbao 1, Valencia 0, Valladolid 0, Leganés 0. Currently, with 2 minutes to go in the Metropolitano, it's Madrid 0, Espanyol 0, and it's Real Sociedad 1, Alaves 2. They played 83 minutes in that game, incidentally. Full-time in the German Cup, Karl Zeiss Jena 0, Bayer Leverkusen, the champions, 1. And that bring a result from the Czech League: Gravina 0, Baník Ostrava 0. So those are all the scores from the football tonight. Still waiting on the draw. As soon as we get that. And some news from the US Open tennis. Harriet Dart has been knocked out and joins Emma Raducanu out of the US Open in Flushing Meadows. She lost in a tiebreak 7-6 and then lost 6-1 in the second set to Marta Kozluk, who was the 19th seed. Wimbledon champion Barbara Krejcikova has lost his straight sets to 120 to world number 122 Elena Gabriel Rusa. She lost his straight sets and she lost 6-4, 7-5. That is a big scoreline there. And not much else to go. Burnley have signed Hannibal from Manchester United today. But that's the only bit of good news that I can give you for Burnley at the moment, because at the moment it's not looking good, and it's not looking good right now. I've just heard rumours that Esteve could be on his way. Hoffenheim has submitted an official bid. I'm going to touch on Burnley at the moment while we're waiting for the draw, because I'm dying to say a few things. Obviously, I've said what I needed to say. There'll be no swearing, and I'll be very calm about the whole situation. But I've been a Burnley fan, as everyone knows on CC Urban, and all my listeners and all my viewers on JB Sports knows, the past 25 years of my life, I've been a very dedicated follower of Burnley Football Club. It's my life. I love my club. I've seen it go through peaks and troughs, and we've been through some bad times. But we've never had such a mess up as what Alan Pace has done to the club. We had a week ago, we had a really good, what we thought was a together squad. 2 wins, 4-1 and 5-0. And we're thinking, this is no problem. We're going to win this league, no problem. I knew there was going to be sales coming. I thought there were 2 or 3 of the sales, fair enough. But to lose 12 players, something's not right. Something's not right at ball level. Alan Pace has done an absolute disappearing act off Twitter. The result against Sunderland was, to put it mildly, pathetic. And there's just no excusing it. And again, from what I saw there, from the clips I saw of the Wolves game, we looked rather leggy and pathetic tonight. And I get the feeling that Scott Parker is being sold a dummy. Big game on Saturday against Blackburn Rovers. There's no doubt about that one. But with 12 players gone and 12 quality ones going at that, the questions will be asked. Yes, there will be points made that some players are unhappy. But Alan Pace is the chairman. Now he has to decide. Some of these players got Burnley into a bad mess last season, got them unceremoniously relegated. They should be allowed, they should stay, some of them, and repair the damage they've caused. And unfortunately, some of them, I think some of the agents haven't helped. But Alan Pace could have turned around and said, no, you're staying here, we pay you, you haven't done enough for us. You need to, it's just ridiculous. And I'm getting, every single time you look, I'm getting completely and utterly pig sick about the whole situation. How on earth does this been allowed to happen? And Paul has come on and said it is a meltdown, and Burnley finances must have been severely mismanaged to get to this stage. Well, I'm on Twitter now as I'm talking to you. I've got the laptop on and everything, and it's just, all we got to do is type in Twitter Clarets, and you get the gist of what I'm going to talk about in a second. I'm going to go through some of the comments on Twitter. Meanwhile, there's an interview going on there, which it is really, really bad. So the latest at the moment, some of the latest, there's a guy on here, Rich, on Twitter. This is Twitter we're on about. We're still waiting for the draw incidentally. As soon as that draw is, I'll bring that to you live. Rich says it's not the selling that's the issue, it's the timing. It looks like we're selling because we're in trouble, and with the window almost desperate, and with us desperately short in some areas, it is seriously working against us to get players in. Another guy here. How can anyone watch us last season and think I want every one of these players? I mean, it takes the mickey at the start when the manager gets us relegated and gets a job in the Champions League. But I draw the line at French Steve leaving as well. It's completely meltdown here at the moment. Another guy, Stephen, says, we see what you're doing, Alan Pace. Asset stripping may not be illegal, but it's shocking and it's immoral. Number one, Mike says, goes from bad to worse this. At this rate, we'll be lucky to stay up. It's, a loan to buy depending on conditions. If you don't tell them to take a long jump, there's seriously something going on. What on earth is going on, volume 18? There's, it's obviously we got a fans advisory board. Where are the fans advisory board at? Them who can think they can dictate to other Burnley fans when they can. You can't say what regarding other board members. Anywhere from Pace, or is that for your eyes and ears only? We're all Burnley fans around. I don't want to turn this into the Burnley show. That's just a sample of some of the vitriol. And I've had my say on Twitter with Alan Pace. And, I was all for him taking over. I thought he had the best interest at the club at heart. To me, the Twitter silence is... And then you've got Russell Ball saying stay calm and everything else. The whole thing is a total and utter shambles. Now, if Burnley... I had Burnley to win the league. I actually did have them to win the league this season on my prediction video on my own channel. I'm looking at right muppet now because of Alan Pace. If I was to change it now, I think we'd be lucky to finish mid-table. And I think pound for pound, I think Leeds and Sheffield United are the two strongest teams, in my opinion, at the moment in the Championship, and Sunderland might just run them close as well. So, Pace is making people out to be right muppets here. The way he's threatened the Burnley fans, the silence, there has to be explanations as to why. But this can't go on. I've never seen, I can't, I expected players to be sold, but I didn't expect the volume of player sales. Burnley must have recouped nearly 150 million quid. Now, why can't some of it be invested? Yes, we've got Hannibal in, but it's not enough. Quite clearly, there's 2.5 days left of this transfer window. If Alan Pace does not pull his finger out, and Matt Williams and Russell Ball, if they don't pull their fingers out, then they have to be criticised. So too JJ Watt. You know, it's all right telling fans to keep the faith and everything, but when you are seeing your own players, the best players that you've got at the club, being sold behind Scott Parker's back, then there's something seriously wrong. Mike just said you can only keep the faith for so long. I've totally lost faith. That's the thing, and I'm trying to stay calm because I'm commentating for TCO. I'm not here to try and listen. I don't want to turn this into the post-match show about Burnley, because we've seen a great cup tie here at the City Ground tonight. But I needed to let the TCO viewers know, my loyal TCO viewers know, that how I felt personally about this, because it's not good enough. We're still waiting for the draw, by the way. It's now 10:30 now, and they should be making the draw now. By now, it's just not good enough. Just get the draw out of the way, and then we can all go home. But it was I've totally lost my bearings on this. Russ has told me that Lar Foster did not come across to the fans. Well, that just shows what a pathetic excuse of a player he actually was. I criticised him on Saturday. I'm going to criticise him as well. We helped him through mental health issues last year. He took a break for 6 months. He's claiming his mental health. We backed him to the hilt. And this is how he repays the good fans, always the good fans. Just seeing that comment alone, no disrespect to Russ, makes me want to, it winds me up a little bit. But having said that, this is the attitude of some players. Though some of them are on big contracts, 5-year contracts, long contracts. Now, what's ever happened to loyalty in football? Burnley right now are a shambles of a football club. And one man is 100% responsible. That man's name is Alan Pace. If he doesn't get his house in order right now and get players in, then it's completely, it's ridiculous. Number one, Parker's Cardi. You are kidding me. Alone as well, almost as cheeky as us. Just say no. Turfmore Clarence says, Alan Pace, JJ Watt, you can reject players for bids for players. I just thought I'd better let you know. It's just there's one man here wants a refund on his season ticket. I'm just looking through here. We're still waiting for the draw. I don't know why they keep us waiting here. I want to come off the air in a bit and have a lie down. I've had a long night. Obviously, we want to put Mike on for 5 minutes and get his reaction to the draw, but I was still waiting. One guy says about tonight's game, always going to be a tough one tonight with all the outgoings and such like. Such a makeshift team. Fans need to stop mouthing J-Rod. If we start up any kind of service, let's be honest, Foster came on and didn't know better. We desperately need some creativity for Saturday. We're all getting fed up now. Enough is enough. We've got people like Romano stirring it, the man from Belgium stirring it. There's a story here. I heard Foster scoped off down the tunnel. Any truth in that? If the result today gets the ball moving in the direction of more players at the end of the window, I'll take a 2-0 defeat. I'm in shock horror. But at the end of the day, it's all gone pear-shaped for Burnley. 2 defeats in 2 games. Big game on Saturday against Blackburn Rovers, who themselves had a embarrassing cup defeat last night against Lancashire rivals Blackpool. So no more representation for East Lancashire now in the next round of the cup. The only teams left in it from Lancashire now are Fleetwood, Blackpool and Preston North End. They're the only 3 Lancashire teams left in the League Cup draw. We're still waiting for Sky to pull their fingers out and get this draw done. So let me just waiting for the draw. And I'll bring you in for a couple of minutes, Mike. Don't worry. Might be done by tomorrow night. Yeah. Burnley's women 7, AFC 5 0. It's only slight news. Not so bothered about the women, really. I'm more bothered about our male first team at the moment. Not being sexist or anything, but you know, it's not good. You know, I want to. You know, I didn't become a Burnley fan just to support the women. I came a Burnley fan because I wanted to support the first team. And at the moment, the first team are not doing well enough. And so you can't blame me for being like this right now. Hopefully, in a few seconds' time, we'll be able to bring you the draw. Well, let's be fair, Thunderbird 3 would have done a rescue by now before this draw's been done. Still waiting for the draw to be made. So just to recap the scores then. Wolves 2, Burnley 0. Wimbledon winning on penalties after a 2-2 draw against Ipswich. Cardiff 3, Southampton 5, Colchester 0, Brentford 1, Swansea 0, Wycombe 1, West Ham 1, Bournemouth 0, Forest 1, Newcastle 1, but Newcastle winning that one 4-3 on penalties. So the big shockers tonight were Wycombe and Wimbledon. And but some of the redraw ties. There'll be 4 European Premier League teams against at home, plus a round 2 winner. I don't know how this is going to work really, but there's going to be 4 of them at home. 2 of them are going to be away. So I don't know how that's going to all work out, but I'm sure we'll explain, or I'll try and interpret it as best I can as I go along here. We're still in the commentary position here at the City Ground. We'll have Mike joining us from London very, very soon. There's been a bit of news from Burnley. Morgan Whittaker's had Plymouth have rejected a bid from Burnley for Morgan Whittaker. Mike says I've got a wedding to go to on Friday. Here we go. The draw is about to be made. Michael Dawson, I believe, are going to draw the home teams. West Ferdinand are going to draw the away teams. Mark Chapman is conducting the draw. This is taking place in London. There's the famous three-handled trophy. First played for back in 1961. The first winners, incidentally, are one of the Champions League teams this year. Aston Villa. Quiz question. Who did they beat in extra time over 2 legs that night? Answers on a postcard, please. I think Russ might know that one. We did Millers beat in 1961. Anyway, the draw's going to be made. And the first ball out is number 16. And that is Liverpool. So they're going to be at Anfield in the third round of the Cup. And let's bet in and just drawing one out, another ball out. Now, who have they got in the third round? Remember, it's going to be a round 2 winner. West Ham United. What a draw that is. So the first draw out of the hat. Liverpool against West Ham. And that will be at Anfield. So the second team, that's another Champions League team out of the bag. Number 17 is Manchester City. At home at the Etihad. And they'll be up against number 25, which is Watford. Manchester City against Watford. I repeated the 2019 FA Cup final, which Manchester City won 6-0 that night. The ball's out again, number 1. And that'll be Arsenal. They're at home at the Emirates. And who have Arsenal got in the next round of the Cup? Number 6. And that will be Bolton Wanderers. Arsenal against Bolton Wanderers. I hope Mike's happy with that draw. Good, nice and easy home tie. So you think next round, Manchester United at Old Trafford. Manchester United at Old Trafford. And they're up against at Old Trafford, Barnsley. Manchester United against League One Barnsley. So again, looks like all the big teams are going to be kept apart here. So the next home team will be drawn by Les Bedin. So it looks as if Aston Villa and Tottenham will be away. Wickham are the next out. They're going to be the home team now. So it's either Aston Villa or Tottenham Hotspur, and it looks as if it's Aston Villa. So Villa are away from home at Wycombe Wanderers. That's a tricky one there for Villa. Go to Adams Park in the next round. And the next round 2 winner, who are going to be drawn at home, is number 9 Coventry City, and they've got Tottenham Hotspur, if my memory serves me right. Number 23, and indeed it is Tottenham Hotspur. That is a good matchup, that one. Coventry against Tottenham. That's going to be an absolute thrill at the Coventry Building Society Arena. So that part of the draw is now done. So now we're going on with the rest of the draw now. So number 24 comes out the hat. That's Walsall at the Bescott Stadium. And who's going to the Bescott? Number 14. Leicester City, All Midlands Cup tie. Great draw for Leicester. Played each other in the FA Cup a couple of seasons ago. Leicester winning that one 1-0 that day. Next draw, number 28 is Brentford at home at the G-Tech Stadium. They're up against number 15, which is Leyton Orient, an all-London affair. Brentford against Leyton Orient. West against East London. Next one out the bag. Number 5 is Blackpool at Bloomfield Road. And they'll be up against number 21, which is Sheffield Wednesday. League One against Championship. Next one out the bag is number 19, which is Preston North End, again at home at Deepdale. And they'll be up against number 13, Fulham. So Fulham have got to go to Deepdale to take on Preston North End. Next one out the hat, number 11 is Everton at Goodison Park. Everton will be up against at Goodison Park. Number 27, is it? Southampton. We definitely know it's Southampton. Yes, it was 27. Next one out of the hat is number 20, which is Queen's Park Rangers. Win for them on penalties last night. And they're up against number 10. West Ferdinand's old team will now play Crystal Palace in another all-London affair. West London against South East London. 22, the next out. That's Stoke City at the Britannia. Well, a Bet365 now. And they play number 12, which is Fleetwood Town. So Fleetwood go to Stoke on a wet and rainy night in round 3. Many balls to go now. Number 7 is the next one out. That's Brighton and Hove Albion down at the Amex Stadium. And we've got number 32, the next one out the hat, and that is Wolverhampton Wanderers. So an all Premier League affair at the Amex. Wolverhampton Wanderers. That might have been Burnley, but I'm quite glad we're not going to Brighton. AFC Wimbledon, the big winners tonight, really. Shockers, their reward is at home time with number 29, Newcastle United. The 2 penalty shootout winners tonight face each other at the Cherry Red Stadium. So there's 2 balls left in. So what a tie that is. Number 8 is Chelsea at home. Play number 4, Barrow. So a great draw for Barrow as well. They were terrific winners yesterday. So there we are. That is the draw. I don't know when the rounds are going to be played, actually. I'm sure Russell let me know, but I think it will be played sometime in late September, early October, I would have thought. Some really interesting games there as well. We'll recap the whole draw for you, and then we'll bring Mike in. But let's now recap the entire draw for you as follows. So Liverpool against West Ham, Manchester City take on Watford, Arsenal face Bolton, Manchester United against Barnsley, Wycombe play Aston Villa, Coventry against Tottenham, Walsall against Leicester, all Midlands game that one, East against West, West against East, Brentford against Leyton Orient, and next one is Blackpool Sheffield Wednesday, Preston against Fulham, Everton against Southampton, another all Premier League game, QPR against Crystal Palace, and Brighton Wolves, and AFC Wimbledon against Newcastle, and Chelsea against Barrow. Now these games are to be played between the week commencing September the 16th and the 23rd of September. So they will be played within the next month. So some great draws there. So that's all the details. I think Mike is. I think we've got Mike on the chat there. He's just been interviewed for TV. I think we've got Mike Arneman on the line. Are you there, Mike?
Hello, JB. How are we? You okay?
I'm very well, thank you. Then your reaction to the draw, Arsenal at home.
Yeah, I think that's a very good tie for us. Obviously, Bolton are going to be a favourable opponent. You know, we could have had a lot worse than that. So, yeah, happy with that one, to be honest.
Yeah, one game. I mean, a couple of games that stand out rather. I mean, some games that stand out rather well. I think look at West Ham. Got to go away to Liverpool. That's a thrilling game. I think
yeah,
some really standout games.
Of course, yeah. Barrow going to Chelsea. Like what a day that's going to be for those Barrow supporters as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course Wimbledon. I'm really pleased they've got Newcastle because that was a great win against Ipswich, and when it seemed to prolong while Ipswich were going to go through there, yeah. But Wimbledon. I mean, that's going to be a great crowd puller for them. Newcastle, that's going to fill the place up down in Merton, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. And, you know, they deserve it as well for all that they've been through, all the promotions that they've been through over the years and, you know, fighting their way up into the EFL. So it's good to, yeah, you know, it's great they've got a really great tie there, yeah.
Absolutely. And a word or two about, I mean, I don't want to finish on a negative note, but I want to get your views on the Burnley situation. I mean, it's pretty bad, isn't it? It's pretty bad.
It's obviously such a shame for, you know, yourself and Paul and everybody that is associated with Burnley Football Club to see you know, going down that route of getting rid of so many players. Vincent Kompany obviously leaving for Bayern Munich in the summer as well, being replaced by Scott Parker, who's going to have so much to do in the next few days. He must have, he must be tearing his hair out right now, Scott Parker, over what he can do with Burnley Football Club, and you know, on the back of the players that they've let go, and yeah, he's going to have to try and sort something out in the next few days. Obviously, there were 12 that have left, and if he can bring in 8 or 10, then he comes some kind of a way of. So he comes a bit of a way to masking over that a little bit. But you know that's all it is. You're just masking over the cracks, even if you bring in 8 or 10 players. To be honest, because at this stage of the window, who's going to be available and who's going to want to come to a team that, to be honest, is in such turmoil. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. I can't agree with you more. But let's finish on a positive tonight. I mean, let's get your thoughts on that game at the City Ground. I mean, you've been listening to the commentary. I don't know if you had the game on in the background, but
I did indeed. Yeah.
I thought it was a terrific game of football. I thought it to and fro a bit in the second half, and that. I mean, the reason I kept the lad from Forest the man of the match, it was just because of his super goal. It wasn't just because of his work rate. I mean, somebody said in the chat, I think somebody said, I'd have given it Dan Burn or...
Yeah, that was me. I said
was
Dan
Burn
had a very good game for Newcastle. I think, obviously, it was Jota you gave it to, the man of Forest.
Yeah, Jota, that's it. Yes.
So, and that was a fair shout as well. But, yeah, I just think Dan Burn would have, for me, just nicked it. But, obviously, Jota got himself the goal, and, he worked hard for Forest as well. And
I've got to admit, Mike, on any other night, I think I'd have given it Dan Burn. But, it's just because of the goal and the impact it had at the game at the time. I mean, Forest will be disappointed, though, won't they? Because they were 3-1 up. And they were
two poor penalties as well, weren't they? There was the one
they were terrible.
Hit the crossbar, and then the last one from is it Iwoni? He just skied it into the crowd, and you can see the reaction of the Forest fans behind the goal there. They knew that was their night and their competition up. Yeah.
I mean, Worldy actually was in tears. I noticed at the end. You know what I mean? But in fairness to Newcastle, they rolled the storm. I mean, we've had some great. I mean, 2 great nights of cup action. I want to get your thoughts on the Jay Stansfield thing at Birmingham last night. Now, we don't see enough sportsmanship from opposition fans.
No,
Jay Stansfield played for Birmingham last year, folks. If you're not familiar with this, Jay Stansfield is the son of Adam Stansfield, the late great Adam Stansfield, the Exeter City.
He was at Exeter, he was at Yeovil. I remember Adam Stansfield very well, actually, because Adam Stansfield himself, he scored in that FA Trophy final when Yeovil beat Stevenage at Villa Park. So Adam Stansfield, his dad was on the score sheet on that day,
Yeah, well, Jay Stansfield was a Birmingham player. He was on the loan from Fulham there last season in a team that got relegated. But even though he scored yesterday, he scored the second goal, of course. But when he came off the field, something amazing happened, folks. If you haven't listened to the game back, I suggest you do at about the 70, 80th minute mark, right? Because it was an amazing moment. All four sides of St Andrews literally stood up and clapped him off the field. Now, you don't see that, Mike, in modern day football. Usually opposition players get booed or have vitriol poured all over them.
Yeah.
Not Jay Stansfield tonight. Birmingham fans are used to cheer their name. I mean, he respected the Birmingham fans as well when he scored, by the way.
He didn't celebrate
absolutely clear. Yeah. But isn't it good, though, Mike, to see sportsmanship like that in the modern game?
Oh, yeah, we need to see more of it. Obviously, there's a lot of transfers that between players and between clubs. And then, obviously, as you say, they get slated, they get booed, they get all sorts of abuse thrown at them and all that kind of stuff. And, you don't want to see that in the game. You want to see kind of what happened yesterday with Jay Stansfield, where he gets the recognition for, his service that he put into Birmingham and also to Fulham as well, yeah.
Fantastic. And what a nice way in which to end. I think we had to end on a nice note, Mike. Thank you very much indeed for your contributions there. And thank you very much, guys, for sticking with us for nearly 3 or 4 hours. It's been a long marathon night in our match, in the main event. Let me just recap what happened then. Wolves through, Wimbledon through, Southampton through, Brentford through, Wickham through, United, West Ham through, Newcastle through. Some of the big, and the draw for the next round. Just to remind you, Arsenal have got Bolton, Brentford, Leyton Orient, at All London derby. Some of the old Premier League affairs, Liverpool against West Ham, that's the tie of the round. And Aston Villa away at Wickham Wanderers. Just 2 or 3 of the standout games that we've got coming up in September. And no doubt at all, you'll hear it all on the TC Hub. Next from us is Friday night, and Russ Vernon will be your host for the summer transfer deadline day. He will be on from around about 8 o'clock on Friday night, bring you all the last minute deals as they happen. When if there's a deal to be done, Russell Vernon will be all over it for you. So if you're staying in, you're not going on a Friday night out and you're washing your hair, girls, put your dial on, listen to Russ. He'll have his beautiful yellow t-shirt on. He will absolutely guide you through it. If you're a football fan and you're not going out that Friday night, stick it with us on TC Up. Anyway, thank you to Mike. Thank you to everybody. Thanks to our producer Russ tonight. It's been a great night. Newcastle fought they were dead and buried and at 3-1 in the shootout. But 2 misses from Forest. 1 hit in the bar, 1 being blazed over the bar. And then Newcastle keeping their nerve has seen them through. And they go to Wimbledon, who also won on penalties tonight. From all of us here on the TC Hub, I bid you, from me, JB, I bid you a very, very good night. Take care. See you soon.